of the show yesterday?
Somebody in the text line said that should be the open every day.
I kind of like it. It's upbeat.
The only challenge is there is no way either of us can correctly pronounce the artist of this because it's like Ina Kaza. I don't even know how it's pronounced.
But I kind of am digging
You know
the
what
music.
I'm talking about. Like I can recognize the artist if I saw it written, but
It is 2 days in a row, and I'm kind of digging it though. It's
Like a hot
upbeat.
stepper.
Like I
Okay.
mean, and we can even don't bring it back up now, but like in the future, you can even let it roll for a little bit longer. Like I kind of like it. Kind of like it to start the show today. Real quick, though, because we're going to get into, of course, Aaron Rodgers and the injury last night. Don't worry, here in about 10 minutes or so. But right as we were coming on the air, Tom Pelissero is reporting that an MRI did, in fact, confirm the Jets' fears that Aaron Rodgers suffered a complete tear of his left Achilles tendon in last night's game. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Don't worry, we're going to talk plenty about that throughout the show today. We got Vinny Pasquantino joining us at 11, obviously a big Jets fan.
it's going to be tough. Tough day for Vinny.
He's willing to call in, though. Our NFL insider doesn't not call in just because a team he roots for suffered a devastating injury. So we'll talk crazy week one and certainly find out where he's at mentally after his Jets team. All the talk all offseason. All the talk. Super Bowl talk, not from him, but from Jets fans. And now the realization that Zach Wilson's your guy the rest of the year. Brutal.
A bet's a bet, though, right?
Yeah, I think we're going.
Let's just be clear.
think,
We had already established the betting terms of playoff tickets for crown seats
I think you're right.
on October 1st. I mean, that wasn't like a thing we were kicking around. We had agreed on a bet, right?
We did. We'll get Vinny's thoughts, but yes, the bet was made before the start of the season, and if that's the case, I think we're all sitting in the Crown Club seats next year. Not the way we wanted it to go down, though.
No.
So we'll talk to Vinny at 11. We'll have J.J. Piccolo, also the general manager of the Royals, join us at 10:30. But we start with Chris Jones, who, by the way, looking at the numbers now that have come out from Ian Rappaport and others, what was the point of the holdout? What was the point of the holdout? Because we know that he had a $500,000 workout bonus he lost. We know $98,000 in fines for missing minicamp. Over $1 million in fines for missing training camp. $1 million game check for sitting up in that suite and not being on the football field for Thursday night. So that's what he missed. 1 year New Deal incentives has a raise included. Kind of, maybe, if he reaches incentives. There's $1 million incentive if he plays 35%. Okay, that's very achievable. Another $1 million if he plays 50%. All right, also achievable. So there's $2 million back. That still does not get him back all the money he lost. If he gets 10 sacks, $1.25 million. That's what would actually get him over the number to where he's breaking even, essentially. If he wants to actually get the small raise, he needs 15 sacks for $500K. He had 15.5 a year ago, a career high. $1 million for first-team All-Pro and a Super Bowl appearance. He did both of those last year. And $2 million if he wins Defensive Player of the Year. He's already a game behind on that. And a Super Bowl win. Cody, what did he get? He's got to fight just to get the money he lost. It made no sense. They botched this whole deal.
I would fire my agents if this is how it went down. Look, Chris is nicer than me. Because I know last night he was responding to like Ari Myrov and some other people and be like, got it all back. Chris, you got a chance to get it all back, but you didn't. You decidedly have to work to earn the money you already had. You have to find a way to get 10 sacks, play at least 50% of the snaps, so that's pretty much a lock.
If you stay healthy, I mean, there's
and
risk
be like
there.
an all-pro, and then, and only then, will you get your money back. He did all of this, Gold, for the opportunity to maybe, if he was an all-pro and go to the Super Bowl, make an extra $2 million.
Yeah, $1.8 million.
I mean,
Not even 2, man.
this is a massive loss for them. This looks terrible. Look, I think there's a small way in which the Katz brothers at the end can still be like, no, we did okay. And that's if next offseason they still get him the big-time deal that he wants.
Right.
But he will be 30 years old, and he will still have to put up numbers this year in order to accomplish it. And even the 10-sack number this year, you might think, easy for Chris Jones. He's only done that twice. 2 times in his NFL career. Not impossible by any
he's already
means.
missed a game. He's got one less game to make it happen now.
This accomplished nothing. They lost. Like if you're saying who won the showdown between Chris Jones and Brett Veach, the answer is Brett Veach by a lot. He put you in your place. You lost this battle by a mile. It wasn't close. It was a knockdown.
Yeah, it has long-term ramifications, I think, for future negotiations, too. I mean, the Chiefs have been known for a while anyway to kind of be tough negotiators under Brett Veach. Look at the Tyreek Hill situation and finally reached a number. They said, okay, we'll trade you. There's no trade involved here, but, other than when they have to rework a Mahomes deal, they've got the number in mind, especially if you're crossing over 30, and they're not willing to go above what they believe is, in their mind, the value of said player long-term. And this is another case where, if I'm another guy that I'm having to negotiate with Brett Veach, I know that, they're willing to, you're willing to sit out. Well, we're willing for you to miss a game too, and we're not changing. And I think they threw Chris a little bit of a bone just by giving him an opportunity here
to get the money back.
To get the money back. Because, again, if he would have missed another week in the Jags game, that would have been another $1 million in a game check that he would have lost. So, in total, as you said, it's $1.8 million maybe that he can actually get this year. And there's no clause that says the Chiefs can't franchise tag him. And we'll talk about this later. That's very unlikely anyway because the cap hit on a franchise tag next year is like $32 million, which seems very unlikely that they would do that. But there's nothing that says the Chiefs can't prevent them. And so the great news if you're a Chiefs fan here today, 6 months from now, we can worry about the offseason. Chris Jones is coming back, though. He's doing a physical today, reportedly. If he passes that, no reason to believe he won't. And he's ready to go, and we move on, right? But yes, this was miscalculated on both sides truly still. The end result here is financially a major miscalculation on Chris Jones's part here. But the Chiefs, the fact that it dragged down as long, I think they miscalculated that Chris was willing to do this. But after all that, you had a 2-year guaranteed contract extension on the table. And it wasn't the number you wanted, so you said, no, I'm going to walk. There's a lot of risk now you're playing with this year. You're playing with the fact that you're going to maybe make less money, if not more, I should say. And there's always an injury risk, right? And you don't have the guaranteed money that you had on the table. I think a massive risk, and it doesn't make any sense. All the drama, the PR mess. Look, the minute he gets a big sack, there'll be a lot of fans that forget about it, but there's still some fans I think have changed their opinion forever.
Well, that's like the text line pointing out. It's not only did Brett Veach win the dollar amount, he won the PR battle. Right now, if we went out on the street, I drove us all down to the plaza and we pulled 300 people walking around and say, do you like Chris Jones more or Brett Veach more after this? It's going to be like 250. It's going to be 5-1 in favor of Brett Veach. Because, and look, they're operating in a hardline, no-nonsense business way. You can only operate if you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes. Because I'll tell you right now, if Alex Smith was the quarterback or some other regular starter, I'd be like, stop it. Stop screwing around with Chris Jones, who's one of the best defensive linemen in all the NFL. Pay that man so that you can still win football games. The only reason Brett Veach can operate this way, this no-nonsense hard line, we'll trade you Tyreek, we'll play you under the final deal, Chris Jones, and then we'll let you walk, and we'll take our third-round comp pick, or we'll tag and trade you, or do whatever, right? The only way you can operate that way is if you have Patrick Mahomes. So I don't blame them for taking advantage of the current circumstances that they are in. But this is like all I'm trying to ask is what did this really accomplish? Did you get anything out of this?
No.
The Katz brothers screwed you. You played one less game. You earned no more money. You're not free any sooner. You have no more long-term stability. You pissed off your coach for a little bit, right? There's not a single win in this situation. I don't think there's any long-term ramifications of Andy Reid's relationship or the players' relationship.
No, the minute he walks in the locker room,
like, Chris, we missed you.
Yeah, the players in the locker room know they're a better football team with him on their team. So the players are going to, and understand the business side, players will very quickly move on, and especially when he starts helping them win football games, hopefully starting this Sunday against Jacksonville. But you knew that the reworked, raise, and I'll use air quotes, that this one-year deal wasn't great for Chris when Cody, it took until this morning for the numbers to leak out. Because if you guys have followed the league long enough as a fan, or certainly Cody, if we're hosting radio shows, you know that usually agents cannot wait to leak out the number that they got for their client. Like, man, look what we did. We got our client blank new money.
Not saying the Katz brothers.
It took until this reminder yesterday at 4:15 or whatever, 4 o'clock, is when the news came out that they had finalized a one-year rework deal. It took till 8:30 in the morning the next day, which in today's day and age is a long time for the numbers to leak out. That tells me all I need to know about the number that they did not get for their client.
Was anyone else surprised to find out that the Katz brothers have 641 followers on Twitter?
Oh, I mean, that doesn't matter, man.
I just kind of thought they'd have more. That's all.
I mean, they're not Drew Rosenhaus. They don't go on media tours. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit different.
I wonder what the conversations were just between the Katz brothers and Chris Jones, like what they were telling him or pitching to him or trying to get him to understand through this negotiation process. Like, what are they trying to sell here? Like, hey, man, we're going to take care of you. We're going to do it. And it's like all of it is backfired where you waited too long. You irritated a lot of people, and you're not even getting anything, as you said, Cody. You know, you're not getting the long-term stability. You're really not even getting a raise. It's just a loss.
Do you think, guys, when he watched that game on Thursday from the owner's suite, and he's watching his team lose that game, even if it was more offense-related than defense, I'm sure I know everybody's cracking jokes about his agents flanking him on left and right. Like,
sure.
That probably was brutal for him to sit there deep down, and watch his team lose and know that he really should be out there. And I wonder if that's also what sped this up. I don't know if we'll ever get the answer of like, did he go to his agent finally and said, "Hey man, I got to get on the field. Let's just cut our losses, get what I can." Did it come to that? You know, I'm wondering if that's what happened after Thursday night.
Maybe. I'll say this: learn your lesson for this upcoming offseason and don't get Orlando Browned. If you think you're gonna take a hardline stance with all these teams in the offseason when you're a free agent, and the better deal's coming 2 weeks from now. That's not how it works. The highest paid players in every NFL free agency get paid gold first. They get the first deals. They don't get the third or the fourth or 2 weeks from now. Orlando Brown Jr. kept searching for some better deal that didn't exist and then eventually took pennies on the dollar from what he was offered from the Chiefs just a year before that.
Now, obviously, Chris Jones is a much better football player than Orlando Brown Jr.
But
way more valuable.
They still get paid first.
Yeah, I understand. But so I look, it's not going to be in Kansas City. I think we all agree, right? This is the final year for Chris Jones in Kansas City now. It's pretty evident at this point. And it does stink. Yeah, I mean, he's been a hell of a player. I wish they would have been able to come up with a long-term deal because this is a better football team with Chris Jones long-term on it. And again, this is 6 months from now conversations. This offseason, they're going to have plenty of options, but they're going to either have to go spend money on another defensive lineman. They're going to either have to spend a high-quality draft pick or put on another trade. They will have to do something unless, Karlaftis and Felix and Udike Uzama just turn out to be absolute studs this season. You feel great at what you already have. But that's an offseason conversation. I have no doubt Chris Jones probably going to have a great year. And he does have plenty of incentive to go out.
Oh, he's motivated.
It is contract year again.
That.
It is contract year again for Chris Jones.
And
so
the only way to make his money back is to play at an incredibly high level. So
I know that the Chiefs, that Brett Veach put out that statement. One thing in there, I'm paraphrasing here. One thing was evident. Chris really wanted to be a Chief. I still just I don't buy it because you had the guaranteed money. You had the 2 years there. Yes, it wasn't what you wanted, but it was more money than what you're getting now, and you get a chance to win a Super Bowl. I just get the feeling that deep down, it was more about the money than anything else in this situation.
Well, definitely it was about the money, but I'll push back on that he doesn't want to be in KC, because if he really didn't want to be in KC, he could have requested a trade. I mean, so you're right. I agree with you.
I believe he likes playing.
Like, so I get what you're saying, which is like, hey, if you really wanted to be here, like you would have, quote unquote, taken the deal that was offered. But I think if he really was wanting out and didn't value being in Kansas City, he could have. There's nothing preventing him over the last 4+ months from saying, you know what? I know I can get money elsewhere. I don't want to be here. Trade me. He could have done that. That never once, not once, was that something that was asked. Never did it leak out that he wanted to be. None of that happened. So I do believe he wants to be in Kansas City. But ultimately, money was more valuable to him throughout this. That's true.
Meanwhile, this is the biggest news in Kansas City, the biggest news in sports.
Oh, my goodness.
Aaron Rodgers, done for the season after 4 plays. 4. That's all he played for the New York Jets and the most all-in team in the last decade of sports, who had seemingly endless amounts of talent and defensively certainly looked that way last night. Then this happened last night.
Protection breaks down and time runs out. Down goes Rodgers and the sack for Leonard Floyd. New this year, and after spending 3 years with the Rams, the former first-round pick of the Bears, and now Rodgers sits down.
You can just hear the crowd, too.
Well, I'll just stop the clip. That was obviously Aikman and Buck on ESPN last night. That quickly, all the dreams, all the hopes, all the build-up, the reason to be excited if you're a Jets fan. To not even, it's one thing if a quarterback gets hurt anytime, your franchise quarterback, or gets hurt anytime, it's brutal. but you didn't even get to enjoy
A millisecond.
one second of the Rodgers era. If you're a Jets fan, and again, the news this morning confirming what everybody kind of speculated about last night, the Jets and confirming in the MRI that it's a torn Achilles.
Is he done forever?
There's a great chance that he is, unfortunately, right? And he's
this might be the end of his career.
39 years old. I'm sure that's, of course, not how he wants to end it, but he may not have a choice. Recovering from an Achilles injury this late in your career is not going to be easy. It's, who knows ultimately where his mind's at, and it's going to take some time, I'm sure, for him to get in a place where, he might need another darkness retreat to figure out what he wants to do in the future. But, that was brutal last night. I mean, I feel awful. That sucks. No matter what your opinion is on the Jets or on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's a future Hall of Fame quarterback, and 3 plays into your career and excitement around it for that, or to your season, I should say. To have that happen just sucks.
I mean, they're cursed. There's no other explanation for this. And in addition to it, they still managed to win the game, which is insane. It knocks the Bills down, which is great for the Chiefs. So it's like, okay, so now the Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills are all winless in week 1. But, I mean, it's stunning. That was a stunning result last night. He barely got onto the field before they did it. He ran more running with the flag into the stadium than he did.
That was the highlight of his Jets career. That might end up being the highlight of his Jets career. Special moment on 9/11 for him to run on the field with the American flag. That might be the highlight of the Rodgers era.
I mean, what else am I supposed to assume at this point? By the way, this is really small thing, and maybe it's just being paranoid. Shouldn't Cincinnati fans be just a little bit scared? So this type of injury that he had, the torn Achilles that popped, someone immediately pointed out that this is the exact same thing that happened to Kevin Durant. These calf injuries oftentimes can be precursors for these Achilles injuries, especially in elite level athletes. Just rechecking real quick, Drew, you're the resident Bengals fan. Didn't Joe Burrow have a calf injury all preseason?
The first thing that happened when that calf strain happened was, okay, Kevin Durant had a calf injury that led to an Achilles tear. We see what happened with Aaron Rodgers, also had a calf strain leading to an Achilles tear. And yes, he is a little bit older and Joe Burrow's a lot younger, but still they directly have a link to Achilles ruptures. So it does make me a little bit worried.
Are you guys putting Joe Burrow on Achilles watch? Is that what's going on between the two of you now?
I think for the next couple of weeks, we got to watch out for Joe Burrow's Achilles.
It came in, it was a thought in my head, and I was like, you know what? It's possible because they're linked, but I don't know. Now that this has happened, it's like, okay, well, it's a refresher. Oh, yeah, Joe Burrow also had a calf strain.
To me, it's a refresher of how fortunate and lucky the Chiefs got with Travis Kelce. We played the audio yesterday of Jake Glazer describing what the Chiefs initially thought the Travis Kelce injury could be, right? That he basically had a bone fracture or whatever. Of course, that's not the case, and it looks like Travis is trending in the right direction, maybe even to play on Sunday. But how fortunate the Chiefs were when you see something like that. We knew it already, but when you see that happen last night to Aaron Rodgers, how fortunate the Chiefs, of course, were when Mahomes had the dislocated dislocated kneecap or whatever it was a couple years ago and bounced back 2 games later and all that. They have caught some breaks. There's some franchises that are cursed, and the Jets certainly are a cursed franchise, man.
I thought for a little bit, I was really trying to hope for the best. I heard the Manning cast clip, right? And Peyton's I just thought they were just going to be able to tape it up and put him back out there. He got carted off from a game.
He knew right away, though.
Against the Bears, last year, and then came back and dropped 20 on them in the second half, and they still lost. So you're I don't know, maybe. But the look on his face and Robert Saleh's face, those cutaway shots of those guys, you're oh.
This was Saleh after the game, too.
All right, I'll deal with the quarterback real quick. Concerned with his Achilles. MRI is probably going to confirm what we think is already going to happen. So prayers tonight, but it's not good.
That was last night, and since the MRI has confirmed what they knew last night right away.
By the way, guys,
they usually know with Achilles because it's just not there anymore.
Someone said it
just shrinks up into your ankle bone, it's just over.
Some Pro Football Doc was tweeting about that. They're like it's like a accordion or your blinds in your house. They just literally basically shrivels up in the back of your leg.
I'm 39 years old. I'm telling you right now, if I turn my Achilles, I'm just put me out. Just like glue factory me.
Wow.
I can't.
Wow.
There's just no way. I can't keep living my life like this. If I had torn my Achilles while we were racing in the hot dog race, that's it for me. That's it. No more athletic endeavors ever again. I'm retiring.
Projected timeline for him, or for an Achilles tear, is 10 to 12 months. Cam Akers did come back in 6 months, but he wasn't as explosive. They say 30 to 40% of NFL players to suffer an Achilles tear never return to professional level of competition.
I mean, it's worse than tearing an ACL now.
Yeah, you would have been better off last night if the news was that he tore his ACL. Then you'd be like, okay, you can come back next year. there's a very real chance that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play in the NFL again. Just complete devastation if you are a Jets fan. Yeah, you won in epic fashion last night. It turned out to be a great finish. It wasn't the best game to watch, but it was fast. The ups and downs of that game, I can't imagine being a Jets or a Bills fan in that one. The ups and downs from the very get-go if you're a Jets fan, and then late, obviously, it ends on an epic, punt return for a touchdown in overtime.
And getting away, a line drive kick is Sam Martin. Gibson runs under it at the Jet 35. Starts to his left, gets to the 40, turns the corner at the 45-50. Blockers in front at the 40, at the Bills 30, inside the 20. Stutter steps to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown! It's a Jet touchdown! This game is over!
Xavier Gibson, who made the team, and if you watched Hard Knocks, really cool story. Just an undrafted guy. Didn't know if he's going to make the team, and right away he leads the Jets to a win off that punt return. That was Jets radio on the call.
Is this legitimately, I don't want to I know sometimes you get hyperbolic. Is this the most devastating NFL injury ever, considering the circumstances? Considering what was happening at the time it happened, how quickly it happened?
It's weird because you could argue if some quarterback had an injury.
You say later in the year somehow it's worse.
Yeah, like if it happened, if you told me that the third play of an AFC title game or something and your quarterback goes out, that's worse than week one. But yes, you're saying it's New York, it's Rodgers gets traded to your team, everything. But
you give up, all the hype, all the build-up, how perfect things were going.
That's none of us predicted an injury, nor did anybody want an injury. But we were like, things seemed too perfect. We said this a couple weeks ago. Like everything seemed way too perfect in New York. Everything. I mean, Rodgers was rejuvenated. It just seemed to be a perfect scenario. You may have thought the Jets were going to implode, and they would, but nobody thought. I mean, the fourth snap of his Jets career might be his last snap in the NFL. And right now, the Jets say they're going to go with Zach Wilson. Later in the show, we'll talk about other options. But the number 2 overall pick for them, of course, a couple years ago, is now QB1
again.
And you saw last night.
He did
how conservative they are with him. They don't trust him.
They got Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. Those two guys can run it.
Good. Breece Hall looked great, and Garrett Wilson's a stud. My God, that catch was insane.
He played defensive back. He full-blown stuck a forearm out to stop it from getting in the defender's hands, and then still somehow pulled it in.
The presence of mind to do that's crazy. By the way, one of the things that came up, I know we were talking about this before the show. David Bakhtiari was going at the NFL a little bit about the turf and everything. The J.K. Dobbins Achilles tear was on grass, and it was a similar tackle based on what this video shows. So turf, grass, it didn't, especially with the calf strain directly having an impact on that. It's not necessarily the turf.
Could have happened next week. It could have. I mean, it's hard to say. They have had issues with the turf there, though. That's why players have brought it up. And so whether that injury directly was because of the turf, who knows? But it is a problem at MetLife Stadium. But that's, again, there's nothing. It's just stunning. I mean, I had barely turned on the TV. I turned on my TV right in the middle of that play.
I had just gotten it on. I was getting ready to lay one of the kids down.
Just stunning to see that happen in that fashion. And because we were all pumped. I think everybody that's an NFL fan was pumped to watch that game. It's Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers, and let's see all this hype about the Jets. Let's see it.
Still no Mahomes Rodgers. We are never going to get that game. 3 times, 3 opportunities at it. Never going to happen.
Yeah, text line says, Roger Goodell cooking with the script. I mean, they got Aaron Rodgers to agree that after all this, you're going to have the Achilles tear.
I'm tired with the script jokes.
You don't like any jokes anymore, though. You don't like the Twitter stuff anymore. With there's a lot of I don't know. I think you're getting bitter as you're getting older.
That might be true.
I think that's what's happening here.
I'm not denying that as a possibility.
You're sick of any jokes now.
I felt like that one got run into the ground last night.
Well, yeah, it was last night. Here we are. We're reacting. This is it.
Specifically, I'm not saying ever. I'm just saying last night I felt like that joke was.
I mean, it was low-hanging fruit. It's better than some people. There were some people making jokes you probably shouldn't make on 9/11 related to the game. So I'd rather than make the jokes about the script.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of that.
Yeah, you saw those.
Yeah.
Not smart.
Yeah.
The script jokes I can handle. I can handle those. All right, coming up next.
Better than the 9/11 jokes, yeah.
Well, yeah, just don't joke about that whatsoever. All right, we'll talk a little Royals baseball with JJ Picollo, Royals GM and VP. I do want to ask him a little bit, though, in an organization, no matter what sport you're in, when you have devastating injuries, how they impact the entire fan base and the organization. We'll get to that next here on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold.
The facts on this show are irrelevant.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Hey, are your old windows letting all that good air conditioning out? Well, on those hot summer days, that cool air is escaping through your old leaky windows and the hot air is pouring in. You want to replace those old windows and keep the cool air inside your house this summer. We still got some time in the summer. You also need to prepare for the winter when the opposite is going to happen. That's why I'm here telling you about Window World, the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Window World's windows are one of 2 windows with a Good Housekeeping seal of approval, ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Just over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency. Over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. You get a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor, because Window World uses a double-strength glass that gives it a strength that is not commonly used in replacement windows. Right now, they're offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. All you need to do is call them for a free home estimate. Replace your windows and keep the cool air inside your house this summer with Window World.
It's tailgate season and Smokehouse Barbecue has you covered. Whether you plan on going to a game or having the party at your house, Smokehouse Barbecue will be there with you. Plus, you can take advantage of their game day special. A slab of baby back ribs, a pound of burnt ends, a pound of wings, a quart of beans, paperware, and servings for 6, all for just $79.95. They also have private banquet rooms at all 3 KC locations. Check them out at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code BETKC and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Place your moneyline, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 plus to wager. Kansas only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire in 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Great to see you, Bob Fesco. What are you doing out here at Summit Zoo Pets?
Well, just like you, Zeke, I'm here to meet Jimmy at Summit Zoo Pets, where admission is always free for you and your family. Hey, Jimmy, what's going on out here at Summit Zoo Pets?
Guys, thanks for coming out. We're a pet store and more. We have over 17,000 square feet full of pets and pet supplies.
Zeke, this is a great place, a fun place for families, for everyone, even you.
Yeah, Bob, I can get a snake and a rabbit.
Hey, Zeke, don't put them in the same cage. Check them out at summitzoo.com or visit them at the intersection of 291 and 150 Highway in Lee Summit. It's Summit Zoo Pets.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a sensor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is the password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh, the button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-989-8906 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-989-8906. That's 800-989-8906. What do you have to lose? Call 800-989-8906. Again, 800-989-8906.
Dick Butkus here. I've got a game changer for you. When it comes to creating a winning website, there's only one team I trust, AmericanEagle.com. I've known them for 25 years. In my career, I learned that success isn't just about talent, it's about teamwork. That's what you'll find at AmericanEagle.com. They'll listen to your goals and work with you and handle all your digital properties. They'll ensure your website is user-friendly, responsive, and optimized for search engines. AmericanEagle.com also provides ongoing support and digital marketing strategies that will keep you ahead of the competition. They even host our podcast. Whether you're a medium to large business or a big-time player, AmericanEagle.com is the top choice. Visit www.AmericanEagle.com for website design, development, and online solutions that deliver efficiency and results. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call them at 877-WEB-NOW-1.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm PJ Vogt, here to tell you about my new podcast, Search Engine. On Search Engine, we tackle the kinds of questions that keep you up at night. Like, why are drug dealers putting fentanyl in everything? Should we be worried that Elon Musk believes that we're living in a simulation? And, for the love of God, is it actually unsafe to drink the coffee on airplanes? On Search Engine, no question is too big and no question is too small. Listen and follow Search Engine with PJ Vogt and Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This report is brought to you by KC Customs. We put the customs in KC. KC-Customs.com.
Want a new truck, Jeep, or SUV, but don't want a new payment? Then come by KC Customs. We'll turn your boring ride into one that turns heads and breaks necks. Set yourself apart from the crowd. Go to KC Customs. We put the customs in KC.
He's in the tent. He's hurt. He's hurt. Could not have been. Holy cow. I cannot believe this. I thought it was just an ankle. I thought we'd go tape it up and get him back in there. Come on. Hey, three plays, 4 plays.
That was Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Manningcast last night on ESPN, reacting to, at that time, Aaron Rodgers getting put on a cart. We now know, of course, the MRI confirming a torn Achilles out for the season. Just devastating injury for Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Coming up in about 12 minutes or so, we'll get to the college football whip around, but we welcome in JJ Picola, Royals general manager and vice president of baseball operations. JJ, always good to have you on the show. I did want to start just with your reaction a little bit because you've been around sports for your entire life. Devastating injuries do happen, but how does that impact the entire organization? I imagine there's just a huge trickle-down effect and the day after something like this can happen.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. It's so disappointing. There's all this buildup of an all-time great going to a new team and going to New York and the Hard Knocks show and everything that led up to last night. And I'm sure there's a lot of disappointed fans in New York and obviously within the organization. So you just hate to see it. Any player suffering a season-ending injury, you hate to see it in any sport. But I know there were a lot of eyes on that game last night, so not good for the NFL, but it's unfortunate, and it happens. It happens just about every week to some team.
How often have you had the conversations with players about what the end of their career would look like? Maybe you're in that with Zach Greinke now or those things. But for like Aaron, he's got to have these conversations about recovery and what that looks like and if he keeps playing. How hard is it to have the conversations about, or how often do you, even as a general manager, have a conversation about what the end might look like?
Well, there's so few players when you think about it in any sport that reach the status of an Aaron Rodgers or Zach Greinke. It just doesn't happen all that often. Usually the game tells players when it's time for them to quit. But when you're talking about guys that have had such a long, sustained, excellent career, it's a harder conversation. And I haven't had many of them in my career, but. Their expectations and of themselves, and they're so accustomed to excellence. When they're not able to achieve that, I think that's sort of the inner battle that those players probably go through, because they could probably keep playing, but are they willing to accept that they may not be able to play at the level they're accustomed to playing? So they're difficult conversations, but I think we all welcome that, because that means you're dealing with a player who is excellent, and potential Hall of Fame players. So they're good conversations to have when you have players of that caliber.
When you look around the rest of, the leagues and those type of conversations, we were looking at the NFL too. We just felt like your general manager might be able to help us. When you're having a contract negotiation in which neither side seems like they're going to move, what are the things you look for, JJ, that may decide, hey, this can't happen long term and we just need to play under these original terms? Or at what point do you get to a breaking point where you're like, I guess this conversation is not going in either team's direction?
Well, I think every negotiation has its own life. I think as a general manager, my responsibility or any general manager's responsibility is to the organization and what's best for the organization. You don't want to put the team in a position where you can't compete because all of your money's going into one or two players. But every situation is a little bit different. Where is a team in their timeline to winning? Are they ready to win now? Are they trying to change the culture in some way? So they're all different, and there's different ways to break ties. But ultimately, a player signs with a team because he feels like that is the right team for him, and the finances match up with what they think they're worth. So that's a tough question to answer, but I think it's really just every negotiation is a little bit different.
We've had a guest on our show a couple of times, David Sampson. He's the former team president over there with the Marlins. He was talking about the Giancarlo Stanton deal, for instance. Like, is there a point for you guys when you get to the offseason or down the road with Bobby Wood Jr. or any of these things where you have to start thinking about what is the number where there's no conversation here or no back and forth so that we're not negotiating this, versus where you guys might be as an organization where you still want to make sure that you're doing, like you said, the long-term plans for the team?
Yeah, I think as you're having those types of discussions, it becomes apparent. Are we moving in the right direction or are we not? Are the expectations of a player or the expectations of a team, do they just not match up? And if they don't match up, then you'll realize pretty quickly that, this probably isn't going to happen. So you go to plan B or whatever it may be. But it's individual. I think finding out what's important to players is probably the first step. And then trying to figure out, all right, how can we match or do we match up with the goals and dreams of that player? And hopefully you move in the right direction and you're able to strike a deal. But, I'm always amazed. I kind of look at this almost daily, how many great players have played for so many different teams. It's very rare. Even when you go back, I had this thought in my mind that, in the 70s, everybody always stayed with their teams. Well, they didn't. Use Reggie Jackson as an example, and there's several. They play with multiple teams, and that happens for different reasons. But, again, what's the goal of the player? What's their desires? Are they comfortable in a town? Do they want to stay in that town? Does the vision of the organization match up with the vision of the player? When those answers are yes, then you have a chance to re-sign a player. But, again, it's for every example of a guy staying, there's 15 to 30 examples of guys that don't,
We're talking we're talking to JJ Piccolo here on Cody and Gold. With you guys on the field, though, we did see a couple nominees, obviously, for the Gold Glove Award, and Michael Massey, Bobby Wood Jr., and Michael Garcia. When you look at this infield right now, I think we talked in the offseason about the desire, obviously, for Bobby Wood Jr. to become a better player defensively, and obviously we've seen that, and it's worked itself out with the type of season he's put together, not just at the plate, but with his glove. But then to see two guys that maybe there were more questions about heading into the season, in Michael Massey and Michael Garcia, who didn't even start, obviously, right away on the big league club.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really proud of those players and happy for them. They're all tremendous workers. They put a lot of time in, and I do need to mention, the work that Jose Aguisil did with them starting in spring to really start in the offseason. A lot of Zoom calls. I mean, Jose was in Venezuela managing, but he was building relationships with them over Zoom prior to getting to Surprise for spring training. And then the work that they just put in. I mean, they have a great desire. All three of them have great desires to be excellent defensive players. And you don't always see that because guys know they're defined more by what they do offensively. But when you get a group that's working hard together and they can see one guy having success and now they want to have success, there's a competitive spirit to that that's healthy. But to see those three make the strides that they've made over the course of this season has been awesome. Our fielding percentage as a team on the infield, I think it's the highest fielding percentage we've ever had as a team. So I think that's great. And when you take into consideration the shifts are gone, the plays that are being made are more impactful because they have to cover more ground than they have in the last few years where the shifts were so prevalent. Guys were put in spots to make plays easier. But I think that's kind of an understated part of what they're doing, but they're doing it from a traditional sense with no shifts as well, and I think that needs to be factored in also when you're trying to measure the improvement of that player, and all three have made great strides.
Speaking of Royals general manager JJ Piccolo here on Cody and Gold, I want to ask you about a player you've only had here a week, JJ. Nick Lofton, what can you learn from a player when you only get them up for this short call-up time in Major League Baseball, right? You got 4 weeks with the kid. You'll try to get him in. What can you learn about Nick Lofton, or do you feel like you're learning about Nick Lofton over the next few weeks?
Well, I think the first thing that stands out is, does he keep his composure? Is he going to get nervous in the major leagues or vibrate, as we like to say? And Nick hasn't vibrated one bit. He feels like he's a major league player. He's acting like he's been here for a long time, which is great. But also just to get his feet wet in the major leagues. This is September is a good time to do that. And so if Nick ends up making our team out of spring training, it's not his first game in the major leagues. He's been on charter flights. He's been around the team. He gets a handle on how things operate in the major leagues, which is vastly different than the way things operate in the minor leagues. And it just gives him a step ahead. But he's done a really nice job playing multiple positions, getting a few big hits. So that's been great to see. He's been a very consistent performer throughout his career in the minor leagues. His batted ball data is almost identical to what it was in college and then through low A to triple A. And he's just been a very consistent offensive player. And we've been very happy with what we've seen defensively. We don't necessarily think he's a first baseman, but we had an opportunity to get him over there just to get him more at bats, and he's handled it well. But I think probably the thing that stood out so far the most to us is the quickness and the range we've seen at third base, and that was something that we want to focus on, and he's going to continue to get better. But he's looked good down there at third base, in the couple opportunities we've had him there.
Last thing for me, JJ, I know this might sound kind of longer, but I was just thinking about how he got called up and then Logan Porter. From a general manager, is it way more satisfying when the 28-year-old guy who had to grind through it impossibly long gets called up? Is it more enjoyable from a general manager and then when Bobby gets called up? Everyone knew Bobby Wood Jr. is going to be a big league player the second he signed with the Royals. Is it more fun when those guys who really have to go through it get called up?
It is neat. I don't want to downplay anybody getting to the major leagues because it's a great accomplishment for anyone. But when you think about somebody like Logan Porter, non-drafted, we were short on catchers in Arizona, didn't have, long-term expectations. But it just goes to show you that anything can happen. If players believe in themselves, that's probably the most important thing a player can possess, is just an internal belief that they can play in the major leagues. and then they just grind it out. And then when Logan got a chance to go play in the Happy League, a league that's not even in existence anymore, he basically wins a Triple Crown. And it's like, okay, he can hit a little bit. Now his catching skills get a little bit better, and he keeps doing it, through AA and AAA. So there is a lot of satisfaction. So you're really happy, number one, for the player, but I also think it's a really positive reflection on player development, because we take a lot of pride in it, and we tell players when they get in spring training or when they first sign, hey, we don't know who's going to play in the major leagues in this room, but we're going to treat you all the same. The guys you invest in obviously will get more bats and initial opportunity, but the work that's being done with each individual is equal. It doesn't matter how many dollars you got in your signing bonus. So I do think there's an element there that player development should feel very good about what they've done, and scouting should. But ultimately, Logan was the one who took the bull by the horns and worked his way through and grinded it out, and now he's a major league player, pretty elite company.
JJ Picollo, Royals GM, Vice President of Baseball Ops. Your Eagles also got off to a little 1-0 start, too, so we'll check in a couple weeks.
Yeah, they were a little shaky, but that's all right.
There you go. That's JJ Picollo. He joins us every couple weeks here on Cody and Gold. And, the Eagles, hey, a win's a win. A win's a win, but his Eagles did get a win.
Chiefs were also shaky. They lost, so feel okay.
Exactly. You find a way to win. By the way, coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Vinny Pasquantino, who we'll find out how he's feeling today after now the news
Probably
officially that Aaron Rodgers is done for the season, and a lot to get into from week one in the NFL with Vinny Pasquantino. We know also it was a busy college football week, and our guy Drew just going all in on K-State. You were in Manhattan. We'll let you kick things off for us here, because you made a little road trip this weekend.
I did. I made a road trip, and it was a really good time. Got out there about an hour and a half-ish before kickoff. We got to pull in and see all the tailgating, everybody having a good time, and got to walk around Bill Snyder Family Stadium a little bit. Got to experience a full game day, if you will, and it was really good. The game obviously was fantastic. We were next to the student section and a lot of the alumni, so you're standing up basically the whole game, and it was good, doing all the chants and everything like that. The first down and all of the other stuff too was very good. It was a great experience. Along with the win, not to mention, did better than I thought. I thought Troy would cover, and there was a point where Troy was...
kind of felt like a sweat there for the first half.
Troy was there. They just couldn't do much on offense. I think the defense was the thing that stood out the most, maybe. Will Howard obviously was really good. Trayshawn Ward got a lot more carries, I think, than DJ Giddens did, which was interesting. But overall, a great win against a really solid Troy team, and they go into a rivalry game this weekend. So I think the vibe is good in Manhattan.
You know that at some point you're going to have to take your wife on a date that does not involve going to a sporting event. You've been to the Royals games in K-State and the race this weekend.
The Casey Current game.
The Casey Current. You are at some point going to have to take your wife somewhere that
went
does
to
not involve a sporting
and then
event.
we went to the NASCAR race the next day. She likes the NASCAR race, though, so that was all right. But, and it's, she enjoys doing it, but yes, I do need to take her somewhere that is not sports related. Her birthday's coming up too this month, so obviously going to be in on that. But I think this weekend is maybe one of the best. I think it's a top 3 game in the entire country.
That's how weak the slate is in week 3, technically, I guess it is, of college football. And yeah, you're right. K-State's going to take on Missouri.
So we might as well talk about that since we're talking about the matchup. One, if Missouri keeps this thing close with K-State, I will consider that a win based on how rocky the early part of their season has been. They are an imperfect team. Getting to 6 wins and bowl eligible is what Eli needs with top recruits coming next year and those things. They're an imperfect team. They still have quarterback issues. For all the Eli Drinkwitz saying, I don't care what you think, Brady Cook did not look comfortable again, where they battle offensively for a huge chunk of the game. Honestly, part of it, though, that gets me, though, is Drinkwitz is not a good in-game decision maker. I think that's something we can pretty safely say at this point about Missouri. I don't like the way he operates with the team in key moments of the game. Kleiman and Leipold, from the local standpoint, are definitively better than him at that. Eli is a great recruiter. I think Eli gets talent. I don't think there's any denying that he gets talent.
He's a great salesman.
But he needs to figure out how to parlay that into in-game stuff or just load up on assistants who can help you with some of that. Get some of those high-level guys from some of these other programs who can assist you with that portion of the program, because that's still one of my biggest concerns with them. But, yeah, it's obviously massive. MU K-State, if they're able to pull the upset, then MU's riding high. Maybe they can be better than a 6-win team, but, there's a reason why that line, although it started at one point that made no sense, is a touchdown now. There's a reason why that line got bet up that quickly.
Over in Lawrence, of course, another Friday night game. They had that. This was a nice little test against a Big Ten foe in Illinois. And that offense that we saw much of last season with Jalen Daniels, one of the best offenses in football, that's exactly what they looked like again on Friday night, which was a welcome sign. You saw the talent of Jalen Daniels on full display. He was fantastic in the game. Once again, though, the question is, can the back hold up after a game? Lance Leipold said on Sunday that Jason Bean, the backup quarterback, got most of the reps on Sunday. So we'll see. Now, they're playing Nevada this weekend, who, guys, might end up being the worst FBS school in college football this year. They lost to an FCS school, Idaho, 33-6. Nevada was at home. They lost 33-6. They're 0-2. They lost to a lower-level division school. They're horrific. So
maybe this is the game to sit out Daniels and just let Jason Bean start.
I would not be surprised knowing that conference play begins the next week against BYU. KU has a chance to start this thing 4-0 before they go down to Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns.
Could you have dreamed 2 years ago that you could have said the sentence? Because I remember the times when people would be like, Kansas is winning 3 games this year. And I'm like, you are so pie in the sky.
Yeah, they're going to get
You're
to 3-0
delusional.
easily.
You're living in a dream world.
Yeah.
And they'd go out and win their 1 or 2 games, and you'd be like, yeah, that's more like it.
Those all-black uniforms, by the way, were so nice.
They were good. We're usually critical of uniforms on the show.
The Warhawk helmet was pretty cool. And obviously, as Lance Leipold said, you win in the uniforms, something you love the uniforms as well if you win in them. If they would have lost, everybody has a different feeling.
That's the other thing. Are the Jets, just on the uniform thing, are the Jets never going to wear those cool throwbacks ever again because of this?
I mean, I actually think the uniforms last night were pretty sweet.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Jets uniforms last night were awesome.
Yeah.
But are they ever going to wear them again now that it is a
because of Rodgers? Yeah.
I mean, they did win the game.
Rodgers went down.
I know,
but I mean, but I mean, they lost the guy that they signed for a bunch of money and draft pick compensation.
By the way, KU 27.5-point favorite on the road at Nevada.
I did see Missouri's down to plus 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5.
It got up to 6.5 at some point. So I still don't think 4.5. Does that seem too low for Missouri?
It's almost like the Colorado-Nebraska game.
I don't feel like I'm going to dump more money into it, but because I already put a pretty good size bet when I got it at +1 for, or when I got it -1 for K-State. But I mean, I don't get it 4.5 points. One of these two teams that definitively look like the better squad, and it's K-State.
No doubt. That's a little college football whip around here on Cody and Gold. Up next, though, we get right back into the NFL. The biggest story around the league, Aaron Rodgers done for the season, and a huge Jets fan and our NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino, stops by next.
Chiefs fans, it's Scott Moore. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
When you have asphalt and concrete needs, there's only one company in Kansas City you need to call. That's Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Look, they're one contractor, all things parking lot. It doesn't matter which things you need. Asphalt paving services, those maintenance solutions, or even major concrete work, Gann Asphalt and Concrete can take care of it for you. Go to their website for yourself and take a look, GANNasphalt.com, or give them a call, 816-354-1214.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Want a new car at a used car price? I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lee Summit. Right now, we have a surplus of new cars, so everything is seriously discounted.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV. Hurry in before we run out of 2023s.
Don't miss our surplus sale at the #1 Volkswagen dealer in the Midwest. Visit VWLeeSummit.com.
Based on 2022 VW retail reports, financing through VCI OIC. Call 816-841-7383 for details.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Kling. I'm sure I'm not alone, but I'm probably about as cost-conscious as I've ever been throughout my entire life. And that's why I shop at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee matches the price, penny for penny, on thousands of items with retail giants like Walmart. So I get the same low prices every day, plus their amazing service and extra savings with my Hy-Vee Fuel Saver card. So look for the red everyday low price tags. You're going to get the best price at Hy-Vee. In all these uncertain times, there's one thing I'm certain about, and it's Hy-Vee, the best grocery value in town.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs' score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee.
Offer valid in store only with lookup code 95345. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
It's touchdown Kansas City when you sell your home to Rex at RexBuysKC.com. The champions when it comes to buying homes in Kansas City.
That's right, Mitch. We'll pay more for any home. No hassles or strings attached. We'll buy your home as is for quick, instant cash in only 7 days.
Every home seller scores more with Rex. Rex and his team buy homes for any reason. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, probate, damaged or vacant homes, as is, and you rush away with instant cash.
Homeowners, don't get sacked with a poor financial decision. Call me, Rex, now at 816-330-6000. Fair and honest prices because we know bad things can happen to good people.
Tackled by big home improvement costs, roofs, plumbing, exteriors cost you thousands. Pocket that money and walk away debt and worry free.
Before you sign to sell, call me at 816-330-6000 or online at RexBuysKC.com.
Call the champions, Rex Buys Houses at 816-330-6000 or online at RexBuysKC.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, this is Chiefs Radio Network color analyst Danon Hughes.
Catch me every Tuesday morning at 7:30 on Fesco in the Morning, right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Protection breaks down and time runs out. Down goes Rodgers and the sack for Leonard Floyd. New this year, and after spending 3 years with the Rams, the former first-round pick of the Bears, and now Rodgers sits down. A loss of 10 on the play, and hopefully the Jets are thinking that's the only loss on that play.
That was Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, ESPN last night. Of course, we now know that was a torn Achilles injury for Aaron Rodgers. MRI confirming this morning that he is done for the season. I'm sorry to do this to you, Vinny. I had to play the highlight when we were coming back from break. We got our VinFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino, avid Jets fan, joining us. I'll just ask, what was that like last night for you?
Just pure sadness. Hello, darkness, my old friend, some would say. It hasn't been a fun 12 hours. I didn't sleep much last night. I'm so invested into Jets football that I went into the game yesterday thinking, maybe we'll get lucky and like one of the linemen won't get hurt or like, Brees doesn't go down again. And then I wasn't even thinking about what would happen if Rodgers tore his Achilles 4 plays in. Yeah.
I assume across the board, but do Jets fans feel cursed? Like, as a unit, do they just be like, it's never going to happen, we're a cursed unit? Because that game would seem like maybe the most prolific version of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Things just happen sometimes, and Zach Wilson is meant to be the quarterback of the New York Jets, I fully believe. If you believe in a higher power who, controls things, Zach Wilson is meant to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. I've never seen a stadium go silent before. It was just tough. It was just all around bad vibes. But then we won, so that was cool.
That was an unbelievable finish. Like we saw the shots of obviously Robert Saleh running to Gibson. We saw the shots of the crowd and everything. Be honest, like how long did you get a chance to enjoy that for like at least a split second, or were you just always knowing that hey, it's not going to quote unquote matter because you knew what was going to happen probably with your quarterback?
Yeah, well, I was really excited. Like anytime your team wins, obviously you're super excited. But I think the worry across every Jets fan was, at what cost is this going to happen? I'm currently working on a meme of Thanos when he gets asked what it took, and he says everything. I'm currently working on getting my face put on his face and going to put that out into the world. They're 1-0, so that's good. They're still really good. They just don't have a reliable guy that can throw the ball to receivers.
Do you want them to? Do you want them to go Zach Wilson, or do you want them to go, potential free agent or trade quarterback?
If we could somehow get Matt Stafford, that would be incredible. I just don't see the rant. That's what ESPN keeps throwing out there this morning is Matt Stafford.
I think they pursued him in the offseason. Reportedly, when they were in the middle of the Rodgers stuff, they talked to Stafford.
They do have a newly acquired first-round pick now.
That's true. They're not going to lose that. That's true.
They're not going to lose the first-round pick. So if they could get Stafford, that'd be great. I keep seeing things about Tom Brady, which would be hilarious. But also, isn't he a part owner of the Raiders? So that's probabably not legal.
He would have to sell a minority stake in the Raiders, and 48 hours after telling Patriots fans at a ceremony at halftime that he's a Patriot for life, go join their rival. So it
would be funny if the Jets haven't beaten the Patriots in, I think, 10 years. If Tom Brady came back and his first game was against the Patriots and he beat the Patriots with the Jets for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah.
That would be all time.
Who do you think wins the AFC East now? Like, let's say you maybe thought it was the Jets before. You definitive on the Bills? Because they just lost to your team last night. Miami certainly had the best weekend.
Yeah, I think the easy answer is Miami. Where I'm trying to figure out is last night, was that reckless abandon by the quarterback of the Bills, or was that the Jets playing really good defense? I just don't have the answer. I haven't checked the tapes yet, so.
Maybe a little of both, if we're being honest. Josh Allen has a little reckless abandon in him.
Now, I will say 2 of the interceptions were essentially punts. So they were both on 3rd and long, I believe, and he just launched the ball. So those were probably fine. But the third one was bad. Did you see the Jets guy who caught all those interceptions hit his incentive?
Yeah, three picks, $250K, already got it.
But
Good
it'd be
for
like
him.
if you had $250K in your contract to hit 20 homers, but you did it in like the first week. You're just like, well, problem solved.
Yeah, he's on pace for, I can't do math, but 36 plus whatever.
17 times 3, so 51 picks.
Yeah, that's a lot of interceptions. That'd be good. That's Defensive Player of the Year if you can make that happen.
No question. All right, we're talking to our NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino. Let's pivot from the Jets a little bit. I'm assuming you caught some of the rest of the Week 1 action. It was just a sloppy week around the league. It seemed like a lot of sloppy QB play in general.
Yeah, I think that's like if I didn't play in spring training, I'd probably be a little sloppy first few games. So, yeah, I would imagine that's going to clean itself up. Like everything was sloppy, and then Dolphins-Chargers happened. Tyreek Hill is just ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, solid weekend of football. Good Week 1. Not a ton of points scored, but I don't know what's up with the Bengals. Weather was bad. Browns might be pretty good. Weird weekend around the league. I feel pretty good if I'm a Chiefs fan, though, which,
that's
again, I partly am.
Yeah, I mean,
because of the way the week went.
They lost to an NFC team, too. It's not like it wasn't a divisional game. Like, the Bills lost a divisional game, and in that fashion, their quarterback looks like he's going to throw a bunch of picks like he did last year. Like, that's way more problematic, I think. So Chiefs fans probably do feel better today than they certainly did on Friday after that drop fest. I know you were watching that game, too. What did you make of the Chiefs' performance against the Lions?
It wasn't great, but they stayed in that game. Their defense, I thought, played pretty good. I thought it was a pretty solid game. There was just a few things that happened in the game where if, the picture of the pick six is pretty funny, how there's no defender in the picture. But somehow the Lions scored on that play. So I think I'm feeling pretty good as a Chiefs fan, especially you get Kelsey back. You're in a really good spot.
Vinny, I hate to bring this up, but we did have a bet that was already established on the game between the Chiefs and the Jets. Are we still good? Is a bet here?
Oh, a bet's a bet. Yeah. Okay. I'm not backing down. That's fine. I mean, Matt Stafford's going to be my quarterback here. Actually, Robert Griffin III might be my quarterback here in a few weeks. So,
man.
Never know. I think their plan might be start a new quarterback every week, and then there's no film on that guy.
Smart.
That's like the college approach when they don't have a quarterback. They just throw a different guy out there. Then you never know. They could be capable of anything.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised more people haven't brought up Ryan Tannehill, by the way. That feels like the Titans want to move
but nobody's
from there
trading,
and go to Malik Willis anyway.
Trading their Stafford. That's not if it would take disaster, and they would have to do it, in 6 weeks from now. Yeah. Nobody's trading Tannehill or Stafford at least for 5 or 6 more weeks. And the Rams won in Week 1.
Can the Jets make the postseason, Vinny, with Zach Wilson?
I think so, just because of how weak the schedule is at the end of the year. This next 5 games could be a bloodbath, and it could ruin everything. But I think they could. I mean, the defense is so good. It's going to be hard for other teams to score a ton of points against that defense. It's just a matter of if the Jets can score more than 1 touchdown a game by the offense.
Right. Yeah. That's. I think though. How many games did the Jets win a year ago?
7.
They won 7. I think they were 7-5, and then lost 5 straight.
Unless they shock the world with a win over one of these next 2 opponents, or so, it just feels like that's where they're trending again. Is unfortunately another 7 or 8 win season.
Yeah, I mean, winning last night helped a lot because for some reason they're kind of the Bills' kryptonite in a weird way. I'm not saying they beat them all the time, but they always play them really good. Then you got the Cowboys this weekend. Good luck. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that Cowboys defense.
And then the Patriots, that's a winnable game. Then Chiefs, don't love that matchup. Then Broncos, that's okay. Winnable. And then Eagles. So if you could somehow be 3-3 walking out of those games, you got a shot.
Vinny, I'm really sorry. We feel The text line's pointing it out. You just sound sad today.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very long day.
Normally I try to bring a little bit of energy, but I got nothing for you today.
I don't blame you. I mean, it's got to be just completely crushing, and I can't imagine. You guys were built up for 5 months thinking that you had your guy. You get 4 snaps out of him.
It's just crazy. Like, football's just so crazy because one position can change everything.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the roster, you look around, you're like, that's pretty good. Special teams is good. Defense is good. Line did all right last night. Receivers are solid. Running backs are good. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's so many things to feel good about the game.
I'm not as excited to live tweet during the season because who knows what it's going to look like. We felt like we've been in purgatory for the last few years, and maybe we're back. It's just sad. It's just a sad day.
Fandom sometimes
They're
is
a win too. It doesn't feel like they won last night, but they did.
Yeah.
And it was a cool moment for the kid from Hard Knocks that had a great moment, right? I mean,
it was awesome.
Barely made the team, fought his ass off, had to have his.
And then that drive was unbelievable. He could have easily gone down at like the 10-2, but he decided to just take a right and bring it in. That was awesome.
I don't know what the punter for the Bills, he had no interest.
That was a business decision.
He had no interest in tackling him.
Yeah, well, then you get the doink that goes in, and you're just like, what?
Yeah. My
and somehow they still pulled it off.
Weird.
We just went into our darkness retreat in New York, and we're going to come out on the other side better.
Well, we're still looking forward to week 4. We got, of course, a great watch party that you're helping put together over at Hollywood Casino, Turn 2 Sports Bar. Going to raise some money for Wayside Waves. I know you've been curating a bunch of cool items for the silent auction as well. We're still going to have a good time. Yeah.
Can I talk about those items?
Absolutely.
Yeah, please.
So we're going to have a few signed jerseys from some of the guys on the team, probably a few signed baseballs. I'll have some signed stuff of my own, probably some game use stuff, cleats, stuff like that.
All right.
Very cool.
So should be pretty good. There's a potential to get a few of the Kansas City current players to sign some stuff as well.
Nice.
But we'll see.
Are you tight with the KC Current?
No, I'm just working the phones, trying to get the people what they want. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get Rally House to print us up some Pasquantino jerseys for it, you know? Figure like
That'd
maybe
be
a
great.
Chiefs or Jets Pasquantino jersey should be on the line.
Yeah. Come on, Rally House. Get it done.
All right, Vinny. We appreciate you calling in after, obviously, I'm sure, an awful evening. And it sounds like you said you didn't get a whole lot of sleep. So we'll see you and talk to you next week.
Yeah, sorry I didn't bring the energy. Next week I will.
You got it. No problem. There
It's
you
okay.
go.
We appreciate it, Vinny.
Vinny Pasquantino joins us every Tuesday.
I expected it to be somber today.
Yeah, well, it should be. It should be. I mean, can you imagine?
No.
Hype for 5 months. You got your guy, and then so quick. I mean, if it was week 7, he'd be somber too. But you didn't even get the joy for 6 weeks of it. You didn't even get a quarter. You didn't even get a pass. I mean, you should be somber today. That sucks. I'm still pumped for the watch party. As he mentioned, he's got some really cool items that he's obviously trying to get for the silent auction, and that's October 1st, Sunday Night Football, Chiefs, Jets. Hopefully the Chiefs obviously have their offense clicking by then as well, and you are going to have a pretty damn good Jets defense you're going to be facing, so that offense does need to be rolling, even if it's going to be Zach Wilson, and we aren't ever going to get Rodgers Mahomes. That does suck.
Ever. Because I don't know about anyone else, but if you made me guess right now, I think he's done.
I just think
he sat in a darkness retreat, as Vinny pointed out, and really contemplated walking away from football before he suffered a devastating, career-altering, really hard to come back from injury in the very first few snaps of his entire career. And look, I feel bad for Rodgers because it did seem like he was in a better mood and seemed happier for the move, like this transition was going to be good for him, and then immediately had this happen. No, I don't think he's ever playing again.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that's a real possibility here, and that sucks if that's how it actually does end for Aaron Rodgers. I did want to get to an update that did happen while we were talking to Vinny on a much lighter note. You guys remember back in July, of course, Taylor Swifties took over Kansas City, right? The Taylor Swift concert. Yep. Travis Kelce went to the concert. He made his own bracelet, right? And he wanted to give it to Taylor Swift with his phone number, but he couldn't get backstage because she didn't do that. We've got an update. This is from, this is just a tabloid that I frequent just all the time, of course. I've never heard of it. It's called The Messenger, I guess. Have you heard of that?
Nope.
They have an exclusive that says, headline, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce quietly are hanging out.
Okay, so weirdly enough, I saw this on TikTok like a week ago, and I'm like, I'm not buying
It
this.
says Taylor and Travis have been quietly hanging out, according to a source. She saw him when she was in New York City a few weeks ago. The messenger has reached out to reps for Swift and Kelsey for comment. But it goes back, and we all know that the New Heights podcast, Jason Kelsey, told, and they have a big mistake in here. They say Jason Kelsey, the Kansas City Chiefs tight end. They mean that's the Eagles player. They got the names messed up in this story. But anyway, said he made a bracelet for the show with the digits of the phone number on the beats.
We played that story.
So, all right, good for you, Travis. Not that he's hurting anyway, but still, this is quite the update, you know? Taylor Swift, Travis. Are you nervous, actually, by this news a little bit? Like, are we going to end up in 6 months with a song that has Travis Kelsey featured in it?
I'm not worried about that. That doesn't affect our guy, Travis.
You don't think it's going to be worried? Like, it's going to be like some song that she, like, basically... Because usually it's about ex-boyfriends and how they screwed her over or whatever.
Yeah, typically.
Okay.
But, I mean, what is that going to hurt Travis's reputation? She writes, if anything, it raises your profile. Having Taylor Swift write a breakup song about you, through the roof. The profile change in that is massive.
Well, let's also think positively.
Objectively a good thing.
The amount of Taylor Swift fans who are now Travis Kelsey and Chiefs fans. Like, Chiefs Kingdom just got a whole bunch of new people.
Yeah.
That's possible. I just don't know. Are we going to have a lyric in the future where it's going to be like, at 87, never, like, you know, something like that's going to be in a song now.
I kind of like
Good
the
for
idea.
Travis. You know, the knee swelling is going down. Hopefully he's going to play, and sounds like he's been hanging out with Taylor Swift, too. And maybe Taylor Swift's going to be at a Chiefs game now. Wait till that craziness happens. Hanging out.
They'll have her bang the drum.
Could you imagine if you even agree to that?
I don't think that's going to happen, but that image is incredible, by the way. And now turn your attention to the Chiefs drum deck, where top pop sensation.
Honestly, they seem like they'd make a great couple. What's not to like about this?
Taylor Swift. She can play. She already turned on the halftime performance because she knew she's going to have to watch Travis play in the Super Bowl this year.
This is like the Tom Brady-Giselle situation. When you date someone who makes so much more money than you, it doesn't matter what you make in your NFL career. She's got tons of money.
This is great for the Chiefs.
This is good for the Chiefs, good for the team.
Wait, why is her money good for the team?
Well, because Tom Brady got to take less money all those times because Giselle made all that money.
Yeah, but Travis is not a quarterback. He's not going to. He's also got like 2 or 3 years left in the league.
That's all you're willing to give him?
Yeah, yes, Cody. Yes.
That's all you're willing to give, Travis?
Yeah.
2 or 3 more years?
Oh, the text line's great right now.
See,
we can't read all these, but thank you for the text.
See if we can get Brett Veach on. And so, what are your thoughts on financially being able to keep Travis Kelsey around?
Hey, Travis, you're
You'll
at the
be
podium.
in New York for week 4. They're already hanging out in New York. I mean,
Travis,
come on.
Travis at the podium. So we don't need to. Nobody needs to hear about your knee. Tell us later. Are you in fact hanging out with?
Dude,
Taylor
I swear
Swift?
to God, if he's at the podium tomorrow.
Pete Sweeney, get him on the line. Nate Taylor's going to join us in an hour. Nate Taylor, we're going to ask Nate to ask the question.
Can he or can he not confirm that Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift have been spending some time together? That's all we want to know.
Someone says as long as she doesn't wear a pink 87 jersey and bring bad luck. Remember when Jessica Simpson did that for Romo? I think it was Romo, right? Wasn't she dating Tony Romo?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was wearing like the pink Romo jersey, and then he got hurt or something happened in that game.
Well, and then there was the whole thing because like they went to like Cabo or whatever, right? Wasn't that with her too?
Just wait till we get the TMZ photo, and it's just Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift holding hands in the street of Kansas City.
I just want Travis. Again, this is objectively good across the board. There's no downside.
I mean, I don't know if it's good. It's just funny to me. I don't know if it's like good news. It's just hilarious. Are we going to get a Taylor Swift song in the future with 87 mentioned in it?
You know, maybe this is, you don't think Taylor is eventually going to get married and find love? Maybe this is the one.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because you're not married. You don't think it's possible yet. Drew's
no,
married?
I think my thing is just out of all celebrities, she's
he's hosted Saturday Night Live, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So is she, I think, but
it's like the thing with Adele. She's with Rich Paul now, LeBron's age, and it took her a while. Like eventually you feel like some people
Taylor Swift probably has 20 songs about ex-boyfriends at this point, maybe more.
I don't know. I don't know how many songs. There's a few though.
Someone says, Gold, you'll get a chance to meet her now. I don't know how that's possible. How's that connected?
Here's a wiki listing of the boyfriend songs. According to this Taylor Swift wiki account, it says she has ex-boyfriend songs of Drew Dunlap, Jordan Alford, Jake Gyllenhaal, Harry Styles, Calvin Harris, Tom Hiddleston, Taylor Lautner, Joe Jonas. There's a lot. There's a list. It's probably about 20. It's like a full album. So what? Look at this list. This is a list full of very successful people. He falls right into that category.
Someone says Taylor Kelsey.
It flows.
Those kids would rule the world.
Brangelina, and then we get or whatever Brangelina, whatever the next.
If the two of them were to ever have a kid, that kid would rule the world. It would. It would consume us all. It'd be over. That kid would rule everything.
Someone says, does she take his name? I don't think so. No. I don't think so. No. I don't think in these scenarios that you keep your name. Both of them, you keep your name, okay? So we'll see. We get more updates. But again, some site called The Messenger is reporting that after a failed attempt at giving
can't wait for the
phone number
Heights episode
at the concert. It sounds like New Heights is such a popular podcast. They got back to Taylor Swift that Travis was trying to give her his phone number, and it worked. And they apparently have linked up.
You know how they get viewership too is they get Taylor, if it is together, they get her to come on because they just had Jason's wife come on the podcast. I mean,
Taylor Swift on New Heights podcast.
Gosh. You should, put this into the universe. We have a show just like he has a podcast. Just state the person you're trying to get in touch with now from a female celebrity perspective.
Yeah, because that'll have the same weight.
Maybe we'll get back to her and anything could happen.
That's right.
Yeah, Who is it you would like to date from the female celebrity end?
Is Mila Kunis single or no?
No, she's been married to Ashton Kutcher for some time.
Oh, really? Are they? I don't know. It's hard to keep track of who's single, who's not.
You have to choose a different one. I don't know every celebrity.
Jennifer Lawrence.
She might be.
I think she might be single. I think you're good on Jennifer Lawrence.
Something tells me that not only does Travis
Alex is really been trying to get a hold of Jennifer Lawrence, and if she's interested, so is he.
Not only does Travis Kelce have bigger reach and audience on his podcast, but also he's worth probably like 20 or 30 million at least. So
maybe Jennifer Lawrence wants to date a normal person. You don't know.
That never happens. People say, you notice that, right? You notice every celebrity usually dates another celebrity.
Or somebody else in the industry, They're
Well,
like an agent or like they're a powerful
someone says
person.
that Taylor Swift's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so they think Jason Kelce actually is what made this happen.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Good brother. Good brother.
Awkward first dating?
No.
Did you hear Jason Kelce? I don't know if you guys listen to the New Heights podcast. He said on his first date with his wife, who he met on Tinder. So he met his wife on Tinder. They went on the first date. He passed out at the bar drunk.
Oh, that's bad.
And his teammate had to carry his ass back home. And so, she still married him.
You have to watch the video.
That was their first date, man. Their first date, he passed out drunk at the bar. By the way, the new Kelce documentary premieres today.
The Jason Kelce one.
The Jason Kelce one. I'm told there's quite a bit of Travis Kelce in it.
Okay.
It is following
Taylor
Jason
Swift in
Kelce's
it?
life. Not that I'm aware of.
I just have to say,
season 2.
Again, lastly, just good for you, Travis. Well done. Well done. As our buddy Rob Collins from Fox 4 says, Swift moves for Kelce. Kelsey's going for 200 yards.
How about that?
I agree with the text line. Kelsey's going for 200 yards on Sunday. 200.
Just feeling
great.
Back.
His knee swelling's down. Now everybody's going to start to know that him and Taylor Swift been hanging out.
How many different Taylor Swift concerts you get at Arrowhead now,
More. Good news for Clark Hunt, too. Clark Hunt, she's going to want to have multiple concerts now at Arrowhead.
And a 5-night stay.
That's part of the new contract negotiations in the future.
I don't know. This might work out if Jennifer Lawrence does love sports betting and is passionate about getting it passed in Missouri. I don't know.
That's right.
You guys might share common interests. You don't know.
That's exactly right. All right, coming up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour, we get back into what the Aaron Rodgers injury news means for the rest of the AFC and the Chiefs.
Chiefs fans, it's Jawan Taylor. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Tailgates in turkey? Yes, please. This season, score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty, and truly different, turkey can be used for succulent sliders, killer kebabs, championship chili, or even brilliant burnt ends. You can get all the recipes and register for a chance to win the ultimate prize pack worth nearly $2,000, including a portable Traeger grill, Yeti cooler, Chiefs gear, and much more at tailgatewithturkey.com. You'll be the pride of the parking lot. Come on, KC, turn up your tailgate at tailgatewithturkey.com.
This season, Sonic has taken their game to a whole new level. Get ready for Sonic Buffalo Chicken Dip Bites. Dane Hughes here, and that's right. Sonic has made Buffalo Chicken Dip portable using juicy chicken, buffalo sauce, and melty cheese, all stuffed in a golden brown shell. They're crispy on the outside and creamy on the inside. It's the ultimate game day snack made portable. Sonic Buffalo Chicken Dip Bites are only $2.99, and they're only available for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get Sonic Buffalo Chicken Dip Bites for all your favorite games.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Coming to terms with a dying AC unit is tough. If you need to replace your AC, visit missionphc.com to schedule your free estimate. Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. License 202909. Terms and conditions apply.
We're talking with Dr. Chris Hettinger, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. Tell us what sets KCUC apart from other urology practices.
The things that make us stand out are the technology at our disposal, the quality of the surgeons, and the experience from years and years of robotic surgery.
KCUC was the first to bring robotic surgery to Kansas City, right?
We performed the first robotic surgery in Kansas City in 2003 and continue to perform hundreds of urologic robotic surgeries in the Kansas City metro area every year. Robotic surgery offers less blood loss, shorter hospitalization, less pain, shorter recovery period. After robotic surgery, many of my patients get back to work within a week or two. For abdominal surgery, it's revolutionized what we've done.
From problems urinating to sexual function to prostate cancer, see the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcurology.com.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filipponi here, bringing you the parlay of the day, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Let's take our first look at the NFL lines for Week 2 and find a parlay that takes advantage of the early spreads. I like the Bengals to rebound and blow out the Ravens in Cincinnati. The line is 3.5. Burrow coming off an awful loss. I love the overreaction to the Lions win in Kansas City. Seattle's offense was shut down by LA. It ran only 14 plays in the second half. Give me the Seahawks plus 5.5 in Motown. Mac Jones had his moments against Philly, so I like the Patriots as a small home underdog against Miami. This Bengals-Lions-Pats parlay pays over 6-1. That's it for the parlay of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and make every moment more with America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Kansas. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to VictoryChryslerDodgeJeepRam.com.
Day one, Kansas City took me in. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what we could become. No guarantees we'd succeed. Still, they took a chance, and so did Community America. They invested in me and the entire community. Invest in what you believe in with who you believe in. Because it's not just where you put your money, it's where your money puts you. Member owned, open to all, Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Hey, are your old windows letting all that good air conditioning out? Well, on those hot summer days, that cool air is escaping through your old leaky windows and the hot air is pouring in. You want to replace those old windows and keep the cool air inside your house this summer. We still got some time in the summer. You also need to prepare for the winter when the opposite is going to happen. That's why I'm here telling you about Window World, the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Window World's windows are one of 2 windows with a Good Housekeeping seal of approval, ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Just over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency. Over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. You get a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor, because Window World uses a double-strength glass that gives it a strength that is not commonly used in replacement windows. Right now, they're offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. All you need to do is call them for a free home estimate. Replace your windows and keep the cool air inside your house. house this summer with Window World.
Hey, this is Gold. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings at 20110 East Jackson in Independence on Thursday, September 14th. I'll be there from 4 to 6 for a Bud Light Football Fest and giving away tickets to the upcoming Chiefs game. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Bud Light, enjoy responsibly.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
A mix of sun and clouds, warmer with a high of 77. Weather brought to you by Barbasol Shaving Cream. Choose Barbasol Shaving Cream for a thick lather and a close, comfortable shave. Barbasol, the American original for over 100 years. Better buy Barbasol.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Park & Go. Book parkandgo.com.
Tackle your airport parking needs at Park & Go. Always the best service and always the best price at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7 and all spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and operated.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold. Every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner, the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Here in about a half hour, we'll be joined by Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic, in studio. He'll give us the latest and all the numbers that are out there now with Chris Jones's reworked one-year deal, which ends up, unless he hits every incentive, he's not going to actually really get the raise. And even if he
lost the negotiation.
So we'll get back into that with Nate Taylor in just a little bit. But during the break, there was a little update, not surprisingly, because they need another quarterback on the roster, even if they think Zach Wilson is the guy, with Aaron Rodgers now being out for the season. The Jets, according to Diana Rossini, are searching the free agent and making calls on free agent veteran quarterbacks. Where do you go there? Because the odds are out offshore of who the next Jets quarterback to sign or trade. Here are the top odds offshore. Nick Foles, 3-1. Colt McCoy, who, remember, was going to be the starting quarterback for the Cardinals. He's free at 4-1. Taysom Hill, which the Saints aren't. Why would the Saints?
Also, God, if you're going to trade for any quarterback, why the hell would it be Taysom Hill?
Davis Mills, which is actually interesting. The Texans, who's the backup for Stroud. Carson Wentz, who we know is a free agent, 7-1. That's maybe a name to watch. And then Cooper Rush, who's now is the backup for Dak, but they also brought in Trey Lance. But if I'm a team that has a starting quarterback, and I'm a team that I think is a contender to make the playoffs, I'm not trading my backup quarterback. We just saw last night how valuable that is. The Cowboys won games with Cooper Rush last year. If Dak misses a couple games, they know they can win with Cooper Rush.
Because they have Trey Lance,
Is he up to speed yet, though? These trades, if you're trading for a quarterback on another roster at this point, if you're the Jets, I think you got to wait a couple weeks, don't you? Like, I know Vinny was bringing up that ESPN was mentioning Matthew Stafford, or Jameis Winston's mentioned he's the backup for the Saints. Those teams probably aren't trading their quarterbacks this early. Ryan Tannehill's not getting traded. If you're wondering about Jameis Winston, 22-1 odds that Jameis ends up in New York.
The text line's got the name I think maybe fits better than most.
Okay.
The 913, Taylor Heineke.
He's 14-1.
He has started NFL football games. He is mobile, so he can help hide your poor offensive line play, which, by the way, was a concern. It was the biggest concern of the Jets going into all of this kumbaya stuff anyway. You might remember Matt Verderame coming on the show and being like, their offensive line stinks. I don't think that's the reason Rodgers got hurt. He played 3 plays. Yeah, 4 plays. I think he'd be like, well, if only they had a better offensive line. Bad blocking on 1 play is not the reason why Aaron Rodgers went down. But
yeah, Heineke's intriguing. Backing up the Falcons quarterback, Desmond Ridder.
It just feels like the kind of guy that if you're 4 weeks into this thing and the Zach Wilson train is going absolutely nowhere, turning it over to him at least makes some sense.
I feel like they got to just roll with Zach Wilson, though, man.
He's a former number 2 overall
You kept him
pick.
around. Like you know? A lot of people thought they were going to move on from this offseason. They decided to keep him around, and I just don't think there's really a good option out there to start over him right now.
To Vinny's point, you look at the first 6 weeks of the season. They just played the Bills. They got the Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles. Say they get to 3-3 after that. By that point, maybe a team like the Rams they've fallen flat on their face, or maybe the Titans have really screwed things up, and Tannehill is available. And I mean, 6 weeks in, I feel like that a little bit too late though, because if they're 2-4, can they make the playoffs? Can they recover from that if they do get a veteran guy, or they do make a trade and try to get back and go all in?
I just think they're SOL at this point.
I mean, all the options we're talking about don't feel like a savior.
And I just
unless Tom Brady's quitting everything he just did and just showing up.
The Rams also won week 1. So by week 6, unless you think they're losing, I mean, the Rams aren't going to be out of the picture quick enough. You needed them to start 0-6 or something like that. And I just don't think that's a realistic possibility. And obviously, we already talked about Brady's a minority owner of the Raiders. 1, so literally can't happen. And B, just doesn't make any sense.
3 of the next 4 games for the Rams are against the 49ers, Bengals, and Eagles.
Okay.
So, I mean, those aren't out of the question.
So
losses.
1-3 then, though. That's still not bad enough for them to throw in the towel and trade Stafford.
In there too, but yes.
Okay.
What would it cost to get Kyler Murray from the Cardinals because he's out and they're basically going to go after a quarterback?
They just don't have the money.
Yeah.
How the hell are they going to eat the rest of that contract? They took void years on the back end of the Aaron Rodgers thing. This doesn't just screw them for now. It ends this whole plan. Their whole plan is screwed. Their only way now in the long term, considering the talent on the roster, is to draft another quarterback and hope. Look, they are walking into what will end up being one of the deepest and I know this gets said a lot, but this is actually true, I believe. This will end up being one of the deepest quarterback drafts in 10 or 15 years in the NFL. There are 2 guys right now that everybody thinks Caleb Williams and Drake May are 1-2 with a bullet. Mel Kiper already moved Dion's kid up to number 3 on his list. And there is still Michael Penix Jr. and all these other guys who are available in college football that would project to be first-round talent. So, I mean, at the very least, but that's their only way out now, right? I mean, they can't save this thing all that quick. Because even Zach Wilson, here's the problem. Like, people are like, well, they won with Flacco or Dilfer. I'm like, Zach Wilson's not even those. When Flacco was playing at his peak, he was like the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. When he was like really riding high, he's like the 9th or 10th best QB. Even if Zach Wilson is humming, it's not going down like that.
Textline brought it up, Drew, as well. It's true. I mean, after Joe Burrow's contract is way too much for a guy that can't throw 100 yards, so maybe the Bengals are willing to trade him to the Jets. That's very true. That could happen
Looking at that contract already.
Yeah,
like, man, this
guy, he got contract, now he's not motivated anymore. He got the contract, and 2 days later, he had his worst performance in a Bengals uniform. So it's probably time to move on. Probably time, Drew.
He's washed.
I think so.
Actually, I'd probably.
Jeez.
I'd prefer he be on the Jets or Cincinnati.
What'd you say?
I was trying to decide if I had to choose one place where Joe Burrow was playing football.
Well, the Jets are a cursed franchise, so yeah.
No, but I mean, I feel like I choose Cincinnati. I don't want Joe Burrow with that defense.
Well, not this year.
It's a hell of a
You're asking long term?
Yeah, for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, the Jets are cursed, though. Something bad will happen.
Something bad will happen to Joe just if he ends up there. Oh, yeah. The Bengals and their 0 championships. They're a real beloved franchise with worlds of history.
Most loyal fan base.
They're not cursed,
At least the Jets
are
have
cursed.
At least the Jets have their Joe Namath moment. The Cincinnati doesn't even have that. What is the single greatest moment for Cincinnati Bengals fans?
Making it to
beating the Chiefs in the AFC title game.
I mean, is that legitimately the single greatest moment of their franchise's history?
The best moment might actually be drafting Joe Burrow, and I'm dead serious by that.
And by the way,
the fact that they got him and he's panned out to be as good as he's been. Because let me remind you, up until 2021, in my lifetime, they had never won a playoff game. They lost every single time. They couldn't even get there most of the time. But yeah, their history is just so bland that they've never been able to win anything.
Before
drafting
that, it might
Joe
have been
Burrow is
drafting-
maybe the best thing that they've ever done.
Before that, it might have been drafting Carson Palmer.
No, because I feel like we all hate Carson Palmer.
Really?
He quit on the franchise openly, said, I quit.
They stunk.
Went to the Raiders.
They stunk. What do you blame the man for? You all stunk.
Ryan Fitzpatrick did
I
better
never
than
blamed
Carson
Greinke
Palmer
for leaving
did.
either.
Carson Palmer never won anything either, though, and he had
Yeah,
Ocho
that's true.
Cinco and Hushman and all those guys. I mean,
Someone says the Icky Shuffle is the best moment in Bengals
you know,
history.
it might.
So when Corey Dillon ran for 276 rushing yards in a game.
What do you actually think though this does for as it relates
For the
to
AFC?
the Chiefs and the AFC though? Because
AFC
that was
just got
one of,
easier.
I mean, that was I really thought the Jets could win that division. I picked the Jets to win the division. Obviously, didn't know Aaron Rodgers was getting hurt 4 plays into his time there. The Jets are not a factor at all anymore in a divisional race and in the AFC pecking order. The Jets had a chance to be a team that maybe you didn't want to face in the divisional round or the wild card weekend. And that's not in play. Now, there's a team that can replace them that might be dangerous, like the Miami Dolphins right now. But Aaron Rodgers, when healthy, to me, can still be one of the best quarterbacks in football. Well, he's out of the picture. And so it is one less difficult quarterback to go through if you're looking at the AFC playoff field. And
Which
it's
is
got
great.
serious ramifications there.
So the AFC was already deep, and I felt like you were going to have to go through them anyway. By the way, somebody did get the correct answer. It was drafting Anthony Munoz was the answer we were looking
there it
for.
is. Yes.
For the Cincinnati Bengals, the single best left tackle in the history of the
People
NFL.
are calling you Drew Day now, by the way.
That's all good.
The answer is it made things easier, but also more complicated. Having one less team that you genuinely fear in the AFC is an objectively good thing, but has opened up the door of, to me now, the potential teams with the number 1 seed include now the AFC East winner.
That's probably right.
Before, it didn't.
Probably right.
That was not a part of the conversation. It was really just the Chiefs and the Jaguars,
Although
in
the
my
Bills
opinion.
did just lose to the
They were
Jets,
gonna
so
do
I mean,
it does, but that's one game. Just like I'm not going to panic with the Chiefs, I'm not going to bury the Bills for one game against the Jets in a weird environment. But I think that it opens up the door that the AFC East winner, which I now think will be either the Bills or the Miami Dolphins, could be the number 1 seed. The Chiefs could be the number 1 seed, or the Jags could be the number 1 seed. But for as much as we talked about, it was really important this year to get the number 1 seed because you were going to have to go through 3 really difficult opponents. Well, now the 7th seeded team in the AFC is not going to look nearly as daunting. We said somebody was going to get knocked out of playoffs. Remember that conversation? We're like, hey, there's 9 teams that have a legitimate claim to the playoffs, and 2 of them aren't going to make it. Well, now I think we all assume that the Jets are probably one of those teams. I think it's good in the long run, but it does kind of open the door cracks the door more for the East not being what we thought it was going to be. It immediately turned AFC West from last year. We spent all offseason talking about how the AFC West might be one of the most difficult divisions in the history of sport. And now the AFC East is a team starting Zach Wilson, a lifeless Mac Jones squad, an elite offense in Miami who can't stop anybody, and a Bills team who just lost to Zach Wilson. So, all of a sudden, that division doesn't seem so daunting.
That's the other part about, we're mentioning what it does and not having the Jets part of that, but last night's game as well, seeing Josh Allen once again really struggle. And for a guy that we know when he's at his best is one of the elite talents in the league, but he continues to make poor decisions. I mean, listen to what he said after the game. I mean, this is a guy that seems, it's week 1, he seems kind of defeated.
Yeah, trying to force the ball. Yeah, same place, different day.
How do you fix it? What do you got to do to get it on track?
Yeah, mindset-wise, just trusting what I see and sticking with it and not trying to force anything. And it's a good defense we played, but, we can't play 2 guys. Can't play them and us, and I played us tonight. And
so he took responsibility for the performance, obviously. But hearing him say that, basically, because he was awful in the Meadowlands a year ago too. He stunk it up there, and it happened twice. It's it seems like playing the Jets, or at least playing in that building, is definitely in his head right now, which is wild.
I think also they don't run the ball enough with James Cook. They don't utilize the running backs enough, where it is literally all on his shoulders. He's either running the ball and trying to jump over guys and doing everything, or he's having to pass the ball and fit it into those windows and take on the defense, and it's all on his shoulders where, hey, utilize the running backs that you have. Try to run the ball a little bit more, utilize them in the screen game and the passing game, and it can help him out maybe a little bit in spreading out a defense, if you will. They got the weapons.
They just...
Yeah, who was it? Mike Florio last night? Of course, it's Mike Florio again. It was like, well, the Bills still don't have enough weapons for Josh Allen. What the hell are you talking about? They drafted Dalton Kincaid, who...
And they're running 2 tight end sets that kind of looked effective last night.
Stephon Diggs is still a top receiver in this league. The offense...
Gabe Davis is at least thought of as a
Dawson
decent
Knox is a red zone guy.
Not enough weapons. Get out of here with that. That's not the problem. It's poor decision-making. And ultimately, Josh Allen will be fine. I bet you next week he lights it up and probably throws for 300 yards and rushes for 2 touchdowns and probably is great. But I think someone on the text line put it well. He hasn't been as clutch as you would expect from a guy that we think is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
No,
he's 0-5 in overtime games now, too.
He makes the reason it's a very simple boil down. You're like, okay, for like 3 straight years, the Bills have had a top 5 defense in the NFL scoring wise and a top 3 offense scoring wise in the NFL. How did they not win the Super Bowl? And the very simple boil down is Josh Allen makes critical mistakes at critical times consistently. So now I don't know what to think of the
Odd
East.
snap, too, which was all on him,
Look,
not the
maybe,
center.
Maybe the AFC is going to soften a lot more than we think.
We'll see.
I still think it's 1 week, and the AFC is going to be a bear. So maybe I'm way off base here. After 1 week, you'd be like, well, maybe the AFC is a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to go down like that.
It'll all sort. Plus, there's teams that emerge that, right now it looks like the Dolphins could end up being better than people think. We'll see. That somebody else will emerge. There's always surprises. I mean, again, nobody expected Aaron Rodgers to be out after 1 drive, 4 plays. So now it changes it has a trickle-down effect, not just for that division, the AFC, but when you're looking at schedules for teams like the Chiefs, wow, week 4, really tough game. Doesn't look so tough anymore. Is that an extra, is that a win that some people thought was a loss? This goes for every team that has the Jets on
could be a loss.
Like the Cowboys, who look great, but they have the Jets this week. That game now seems like, okay, they're going to blow them out. But upsets happen, but like...
Somehow they'll end up starting 2-0. Somehow they'll beat Dallas because if there's a cursed franchise that isn't the Jets in the last 20 years, it's certainly Dallas. Dallas just has the championships at other points of their history. But since really those moments, this is the kind of thing that happened to the Cowboys too.
I don't even think that they're threats, but if you look at the playoff picture, teams like the Steelers and the Patriots, those are teams that'll just grind out games where it might be
play spoiler a little bit. You
might have to win 23-20 to beat them. Like you might clearly be the better team, but because they've got such sound defense, particularly the Steelers, and coaching.
Steelers are banged up right now.
They are banged up, which
Hayward's having surgery,
which is tough for them. But they just are 2 teams that always play you tough, regardless of how much less talented they are than you.
Well, yeah, I mean, Vinny mentioned it. Vinny Pasquantino. I mean, well before the Rodgers injury, they can't beat the Patriots. It's been a problem.
It's been as long as the Chiefs haven't beat the Broncos haven't beat the Chiefs. So I mean, you're talking about an equally long amount of time. One of the other fascinating things that happened, because of course we're going to talk a lot of Chris Jones and Aaron Rodgers today. I know that they made this decision somewhere in the offseason, but I am curious for how it impacts this game because obviously the way we're talking about this AFC.
About this Sunday.
This Jags game this Sunday is vitally important for a variety of reasons. It is because, one, the statistic of 0-2 teams and the chance to go to the postseason, although I don't think that applies fully to Mahomes. Yeah. But did anybody else find, I felt like it just kind of got brushed like it wasn't a big deal, that Doug Peterson gave up the play calling before the season this year to his offensive coordinator? Yeah, I was shocked to find out an Andy Reid disciple who was an offensive-minded head coach with a star quarterback gave up play calling duties before the season started.
It's a little unorthodox, but we found out about it right before the season.
Well, I'm sure they were talking about it all offseason.
They've been prepping that guy to take over play calling for months and months and months. So I don't think it's all that big of a deal. Not to mention, if it were to go south, it's very easy for Doug Peterson to say, yeah, I'm back to calling the plays. I actually don't think it's that big of a deal. A bigger deal is actually Josh Allen not having Brian Daboll anymore. I think that we're finding out more and more is a much bigger problem in Buffalo, where your head coach is a defensive-minded head coach. At least in Jacksonville, even if your play caller turns out to fail, your head coach is an offensive mind. He can assist. Sean McDermott, I'm not saying he can't call offensive plays, but he's a defensive-minded coach. He's not an offensive coordinator. Brian Daboll was key for Josh Allen taking the big leaps, and I think that has impacted a little bit of what we're seeing.
Do you think that Trevor Lawrence, do you think he'll stay the offensive coordinator the entire time? Because that'd be the easiest thing. That'd be the most college thing ever. Easiest thing to do is offense struggles for 7 weeks, and you're like, I'm taking back over.
I mean, it can happen. It does happen in college more, but Press Taylor is the guy's name. What a name. Press Taylor.
That's a made-up name.
It does seem kind of fake.
Who names their kid Press? That's not a name. Is it like Presley and he just goes by Press?
It's at Wikipedia and everything. Just Press Taylor. He is 35 years old. He previously was the assistant coach for the Colts and Eagles, and he's now calling plays. for Jacksonville.
You ever just see these?
Oh,
guys
he
in
won
the NFL?
back-to-back junior college national championships at Butler Community College.
Winner.
Near Wichita.
You know?
No, I'm
Winner.
just joking because I pulled up his local ties is what I'm getting at. Bink probably already knew that.
Calvin Ridley did look good.
No, they moved the ball okay. I think Trevor Lawrence, considering the game.
Here we go. Press Taylor's the younger brother of
Zach Taylor.
Cincinnati Bengals head coach Zach Taylor.
By the way, his first name is Sherwood, not Press.
But it's he goes by Press, though.
Yes.
Okay.
His legal birth name, like yours is Alexander.
He's named after his...
His name is Sherwood Press Taylor. If that is not the most I own an estate in the British countryside name, never existed more than that.
It says Taylor's father was a fan of Pete Maravich and named after his father, Press Maravich. Anyway, now we've gotten down quite the rabbit hole for the new... We all know about this new Jags OC, baby. We're ready to go for Sunday.
All right, so, Drew, you don't have kids yet. Alex, you don't either. When you have kids, let's just say you're a big fan of Patrick
Mahomes
or whatever. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
If you like that person and you've chosen to name your child after that person, one, don't do that. Second, don't name them after the parent of that person. If you like Pete Maravich, name your kid Pete. Look, I mean, that's a fairly simple solution.
Who knows?
I'm a big Pete
I'm not
Maravich fan,
gonna-
so I'm going to name my kid Press.
I'm not going to... Go ahead.
My wife won't let me name the kid. She wants to name. She's like, I'm naming our kids. You're not.
Is it because you had a name in mind and you already told her and she's like, no?
No, it's just literally I want to do it. And so, okay.
I didn't know if you were going to name your kid Joe, so.
No.
Wasn't sure if you were going to do
When
that.
I get a dog, I'm going to name it Burrow, though.
You're naming your dog Burrow? Okay.
Yes, I will.
Dogs are a little bit different. I get it.
Much different.
A little bit different.
I'm now learning about Press Maravich. Don't worry. We'll get all caught up on his life history now. So you don't get any naming rights in this?
I'm
Not like a middle name?
naming rights like it's a stadium.
We've talked about it, and I'll give ideas. She's like, no, I like this. Okay.
Is there a decided difference in the names you like here?
No,
You
not
guys are-
really. I think her and I are kind of along the same path of we don't want something that's like used a lot. We want something that's more unique.
Oh, he's going to end up with Press.
No, we're not going to name it Press. You know what? I'll go ahead and text her right now and see if Press is added to the list.
See if Press is an option.
What's Joe Burrow's dad's name? That's the answer for Drew.
Joe Burrow's dad's name.
Yeah. All right, coming up
I don't
next,
know.
though,
Who the hell would know that?
we're gonna get right back into the contract.
Jim.
Jim?
Jim.
Okay. We'll get back into the contract details with Chris Jones and where things stand with Aaron Rodgers as Nate Taylor from The Athletic stops by.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Tune in to hear Andy Reid every Monday at noon, exclusively on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Hey guys, Speed Up here from Fesco in the Morning. You heard me talk about it on the show. I am down to a 3X in my clothes. Yeah, I was wearing 5 and 6X. I'm now down 70 pounds in over 13 weeks. And it's all thanks to Slim for Life. Made the life-changing call to my girl Leanne at the 119th and Metcalf location. She came up with a personalized plan to help me lose the weight, and it is working like a charm. So if you have that extra 20, 30, or even 200 pounds like myself that you need to lose, it's time to make yourself the priority. Make that life-changing call. Set up that free consultation right now. And when you tell them that you heard it from Beat Up and 610 Sports Radio, you get 6 weeks for only $66. And with your Slim for Life plan, you have the option to add your first 4 weeks of semaglutide medication for only $99. What are you waiting for? Call 833-SLIM today. 833-754-6863. Or you can hit them online at slim4life.com. All services included, exclusive of products. And when you schedule that free consultation, you can win tickets to see our defending Super Bowl champions play on September 24th. What are you waiting for? Make the call. Be Slim for Life. Tell them Beat Up sent you.
Foley Rental is your locally owned equipment rental store for commercial, industrial, farm, and residential projects with a large fleet of aerial lifts, telehandlers, generators, trench shoring, and temperature control equipment, plus cat skid steers, excavators, loaders, and attachments, all inspected and maintained by over 500 certified technicians, so you stay safe and on schedule. Foley Rental, committed to you from the ground up. Call 855-RENT-FOLEY or visit FoleyRental.com.
Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook. an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. And the best part is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the app now and use code KCSP to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code KCSP. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over and physically present in Kansas. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
They were all there. My grandparents, all the cousins. I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. They were so proud. After the ceremony, my mom gave me a necklace with my birthstone. I wear it every day. Sometimes I even think it carries a secret superpower, that when I wear it, everything will be okay.
We carry the widest selection of handcrafted jewelry made to help everybody shine bright. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
With Spectrum Mobile and the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Galaxy Z Flip 5, you get faster speeds with Spectrum Speed Boost. Purchase the new Samsung Galaxy Z through Spectrum and get up to $1,000 off, plus the value of your trade-in device. Visit a Spectrum store or SpectrumMobile.com to get the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Galaxy Z Flip 5 today. Visit spectrum.com/policies/mobile-terms for details. Restrictions apply. Spectrum Internet required. Auto pay required.
It's tailgate season and Smokehouse Barbecue has you covered. Whether you plan on going to a game or having the party at your house, Smokehouse Barbecue will be there with you. Plus, you can take advantage of their game day special. A slab of baby back ribs, a pound of burnt ends, a pound of wings, a quart of beans, paperware, and servings for 6, all for just $79.95. They also have private banquet rooms at all 3 KC locations. Check them out at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Want a new car at a used car price? I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. Right now, we have a surplus of new cars, so everything is seriously discounted.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV. Hurry in before we run out of 2023s.
Don't miss our surplus sale at the #1 Volkswagen dealer in the Midwest. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Based on 2022 VW retail reports, financing through VCI OIC. Call 816-841-7383 for details.
Get ready for the upcoming NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. And all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket fresh from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the perfect time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use and you can bet on everything for this upcoming NFL season. So visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code CDOT if you want to kick the NFL season off with an offer that you don't want to miss. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus specs that expire in 7 days after restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends September 18th of 2023. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket. Not on YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and a current form of payment. Commercials excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Castrol Edge can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey Chiefs fans, it's Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Monday with CDOT during the season on your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Noon hour here on Cody and Gold, hanging out on a Tuesday, a busy, busy day in the NFL. Of course, big news nationally, Aaron Rodgers, it's confirmed today, tore his Achilles, terrible stuff, 4 games into his Jets career, and maybe the last snap, who knows, of his NFL career. He's out for the season. Zach Wilson, the starter, going forward for the Jets. And then today we got some more details on the Chris Jones contract discussions and exactly what that 1-year deal, revised, raise, whatever you want to call it, raise with air quotes, is. And to fill you in, more on that, Nate Taylor from The Athletic in studio with us, of course, our Chiefs insider. And we can start there, Nate, because you've been all over this for months. Every time we have you on, we're like, so hear anything new? What's going on? Like, we're done with that at least.
Sure.
But we never said missing multiple games made sense financially, because even if you were to get a brand new massive extension, you weren't going to make up what you're missing.
Right.
So no massive extension. It's a revised 1-year deal. But if we're doing the math right and adding up the fines and everything, maybe if he hits the incentives, all of them, which includes a Super Bowl win.
Yes, and the Defensive Player of the Year award, which he's never won
and he's
before.
missed already a game.
And an All-Pro, and Aaron Donald's back.
And he's missed a game already, and I don't know, we all saw Micah Parsons on Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
He's going to maybe break even. What was the point?
Best case is break even, right?
Best case is break even. I would say there's about a 10% chance that he actually earns anywhere close to the $25 million maximum. Ladies and gentlemen of my beloved hometown, I'm trying my best to synthesize this information for you. And I got to be honest, it's difficult. It's really difficult because the way I heard yesterday was, hey, he can make upwards of 28, 29, maybe even 30 million if everything goes right. But I couldn't confirm that. That's just what I heard. Seeing the numbers today and then getting confirmation that those numbers are indeed true. The fact that you have to get 10 sacks, the fact that you have to be on the field for more than half the defensive snaps, the fact that you have to essentially have a career year yet again, 15 sacks to get $500K additional. Let's not even talk about the All-Pro, the Super Bowl, the Defensive Player of the Year award, because to your point, Mr. Gold, he's already behind.
How does this happen? Because I think both parties at times misjudged the situation, because the Chiefs didn't think it would get to this point, but also
correct.
Clearly Chris Jones and or his agents also miscalculate what the they could actually do in this thing with the Chiefs. I mean, how does this happen, truly?
It's a great question. How did we get here? I'm not sure. Look, it's my job to have the answers. I understand that, y'all. It's really tough.
What, do you want to admit that? The Katz brothers how it got here? I wouldn't.
Well, the number's not leaking out till this morning. I know you said you had some insight already, but leaking out telling me they knew they got screwed, because if they got a great deal, those numbers would have been out in about an hour after the news came out yesterday. They would have been bragging like, "No, here here you go, Rappaport. Here you go, Nate Taylor. We just got our guy another $10 million. We're proud of this." No, we really didn't get him anything. So
well, you got him the chance to earn more money than was originally on his contract. That is their win. The Chiefs' win, as I understand it, is they were determined to have him in uniform for the season opener. That didn't happen because the other side chose to use that last card as their biggest leverage play. But the Chiefs won their side of it, or they feel good about it, because their best defensive player is expected to be in uniform on the field Sunday when the Chiefs play the Jaguars. What I have just told you all, ladies and gentlemen, and essentially what I'm going to write in The Athletic later today with a lot more details, is both parties can say they won the short-term battle, but the war is unnecessary. Like, this was a war that
didn't need to happen, and we're flying a banner that says mission accomplished, but
nothing effectively changed.
I can't tell you the future.
I mean, the future though, right? Results in he's not. This is it for him in KC though, right?
Most likely, but I can't say definitively. I know this is a weird comparison, guys, but basically the president came out there and was like, we accomplished the mission without telling you how the future was going to go. That's essentially what this is. Hey, y'all, mission accomplished. He's back in the building. He's going to sign a new deal. He's going to be awesome. The whole defensive system revolves around him. He will be the player we anticipate he's going to be to help us pursue another championship. What about next year? What about next year? Ladies and gentlemen, the best player on the defense is back in the building. That's what I can tell you. What about 2024? What about the cap? What about the franchise tag? What I am telling you is we solved the issue of today.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you guys.
So was the breaking point just that they were past their theoretical limit of, all right, yeah, we're not accomplishing anything anymore. You guys didn't budge after we missed the game. Or did Chris say, I got to get back to work, okay?
I think
because at some point, my agents would be like, oh, no, Chris, just hold the line. He'd be like, I'm $3.5 million in holding the line, so I'm kind of done there. I'm not going to hold this for $1 million no matter what I say on Twitter a week. What was the breaking point of fine, I'll show up?
The finances obviously force your hand. So again, if you feel like, and again, I understand this. I understand this decision. I understand this play. It's not about, see, this is a philosophical thing, but let me get to the first part. I understand why you want to say, I want to see my value.
Sure.
And one way of doing that is to not be on the field, to withhold your services at least for a game. But when you realize that you're only going to lose more money, when you realize that offer the Chiefs had, it's not going to change. Or, and I don't know, this has not been reported yet, but perhaps that offer might have been rescinded if you miss the first game.
So you think that's there is a possibility the Chiefs said, fine, we're done with this negotiating a long-term deal.
At least for right now.
Yeah.
Now,
they've never really done anything in season. Is that possible?
They've really never done anything in season. The last player that got a real contract that was during the season that I can remember that was noticeable, that kept him on the roster for that following season or multiple seasons, was 2018 with Damian Williams because of the Tyreek Hill.
That's a much smaller, and we're talking small money.
Yeah, but that was because of the Kareem Hunt incident. Kareem Hunt gets kicked off the team because he lied, and there's video, and we can't have this. Oh, Damian Williams is on a nice 3-game stretch. We don't want him to get to free agency because we already see what he does for our system. Let's do something now in December so that you don't even get to free agency so that we can hold you for next year, which proved to be a shrewd move because both parties succeeded. Damian Williams helped them win the Super Bowl. You could say, they did something with Austin Ryder, or hey, they did something in the middle of the season with Andrew Wiley.
Man, you were talking small game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in terms of the big guys, they've never done it since I've covered the team where they've negotiated something during the season, which is why Tyreek Hill in 2019 got his deal done before the opener, which again was instructive and smart because Drew Rosenhaus knows it's a violent game and you can get hurt playing this game. Guess what, y'all? He signed his deal. 10 days later, he was on IR because he broke his collarbone. Came back following, later in the year, obviously helped the team win the Super Bowl. Obviously, we saw Aaron Rodgers, as you mentioned earlier, 4 snaps into the new campaign. Cop, there it goes. You are always 1 snap away from your earning potential being drastically changed. And so I get it, but the finances made them have to come back to the table. And if the Chiefs did rescind their offer, if the Chiefs said, hey, this is our window, if they pulled a Mike Evans without telling anybody publicly, where Mike Evans is like, hey, Bucks, September 9th. And the Bucks are like, cool, we'll see you on the 10th in uniform in Minneapolis. And Mike, all right, cool. I guess I'll ask a trade. But holy smokes, we just beat the Vikings.
Had a nice touchdown in that game.
Yeah, Mike Evans was like, hey, y'all, September 9th, get back at me. And the Bucks are like, We'll see you on the 10th.
I still know who they are.
Yeah, right. So if that happened, and again, I can't report it as fact, but I'm just trying to instruct everybody. If that did happen, that pushes you to come back to the table and say, well, what can we do for this year? My guy's already accrued all these fines. Can he earn it back and get a little bit more on top? I'm just trying to paint the picture
So
as best I understand.
They might have done the Katz brothers and Chris Jones a little bit of a favor, is what you're kind of alluding to potentially.
Yes, because the Chiefs are incentivized.
Yeah,
we need our best defensive player, and you're already under contract. So we went around this over and over and over and over again. So hey, man, you think you're the best defensive player in the year? Prove it. Now we're gonna put incentives tied to it. And if you feel like you can get 15 and a half sacks this season, and you know we're going to play you, then, hey, we're going to incentivize you to come back to work to earn maybe a little bit more money than was originally on the books.
Nate Taylor from The Athletic, our Chiefs insider, in studio hanging out here on a Tuesday. What do you think the long-term ramification, not for Chris Jones, but ramifications for Brett Veach and how they go about negotiations? Because if I'm a free agent or I'm a player on this roster that might be due for a major extension in the very near future, I've seen how they've gone about their business. You know, there was a certain number they wouldn't get to for Tyreek Hill. They were willing to trade him. In this case, hey, you're going to miss a game. Okay, we don't like it, but we're not caving just because you're missing a game. And so we've always heard that Brett Veach is a pretty firm negotiator anyway. But to me, that adds. Here's an example. If I'm an agent and I'm a player, let's just use. I don't know anybody big dollar contract
Creed
on the way.
will get plenty of money. He'll get
Creed is the best center in the league, guys.
14 million a year. 15.
Right.
What is it right on there for the best centers?
Yeah, let me look at it.
And look, and that's nowhere near the kind of money we're talking about here with Chris Jones. But my point is, does that help the Chiefs going forward, or does it make it more difficult for Brett Veach? Because if I'm a player and an agent, I know, like, look, we can play hardball, but they're holding firm. Like, there's not as much wiggle room. And they're able to do that, as Cody pointed out, because they got Patrick Mahomes and because they've got championships recently and all that. But does this negotiation help Brett Veach, I guess, in future ones?
I think 65% of your question probably helps Brett Veach and the Chiefs, because they've put it out there and they've been systematic in their philosophy, right? I like to remind the listeners, there is no player on the Chiefs that is the highest paid player at their position. So when Andy Reid talks about team, that's an example. Hey, Patrick Mahomes, even though he's making probably the most money in cash this year, there are already 7, 8, 9 guys who have already overlapped his deal. And of course, 2025, probably at the latest, they're going to have to restructure that, of course.
Well, I feel like it might be 2024
this
offseason.
offseason, maybe.
Depends on, does he win another MVP? Does he lead the team to another Super Bowl? Because if he does,
still though,
Chris Cabot's on line 1 the day after the parade.
Mahomes going to have to step in if they don't want to just take him to the cleaners on that. He's going to be like, hey, Pat, will you tell him we're friends? Tell him we're cool.
Tell him
we're cool, man. We're cool.
How much got to be in escrow? How much?
Yeah.
So the issue then becomes with someone like Creed Humphrey. To his benefit, he's younger than Chris Jones, and also his position is not as deemed valuable, right? So I bet Creed Humphrey and his agents could say, "Look, guys, we want a 4-year deal, $16 million per year." That would put him at the top. That Jason Kelce right now makes 14.2. And the Chiefs will say 15.5. Cool, got a deal. Guy's still the number 1 in the league as he gets to the final year of his rookie contract, right? So that's a negotiation where the agent and the player needs to understand, based on the year you have left of service of team control, the idea that you might want to get to free agency, but again, it's a violent sport. You could get hurt, or you could be the number 1 guy at your position right now, or near the top. The Chiefs will always frame it, at least as of now, if your name is not Patrick Mahomes and you are really good and you're an all-pro, you could be one of the highest paid players at your position. The highest?
Have to go somewhere else for that.
You got to be willing to
talk
leave.
to Travis Kelce about that. You know, like, hey.
He's got Taylor Swift now, so he's good to
can
go.
you confirm or deny the fact that he's
what are
hanging
your
out with Taylor Swift?
sources telling you?
There's
Guys,
one article out here
been-
saying he's dating Taylor.
I'm only one human, okay? I have been... Chris Jones has controlled my life to a certain degree that is, understandable to the job, but I can't tell you.
Taylor
anything.
Swift,
I'll be honest,
start
based
reaching
on-
out, man.
Based on this show's level of importance,
Yeah.
I don't need you to report on anything else the rest of your but this. You know, like, I don't care if you want to tell me if the wide receivers are good or not.
We need you to have the exclusive on first date details.
Is Travis Kelce hanging out with Taylor Swift?
I could probably get some info on that. I could probably
make some truth to this in any way?
I could probably make some calls. It's good for both people.
I'm telling you right now, great couple. I tell you, rule the world. We'd be in trouble.
The next time Taylor Swift's performing at Arrowhead, there's going to be a song about Travis Kelce. That's usually not a good thing when that happens.
Who cares?
Nah.
Yeah, who cares?
By the way, none of these exes care that Taylor Swift writes songs about him.
Nah.
It's a rite of passage.
No, I mean, this is great for Kelce.
Look, what if?
That's great.
Just what if? Sunday night. Let me look at the schedule real quick. You know, if
Sunday night football
comes to Arrowhead. She comes to Arrowhead. Maybe she'll go to the Jets
That's my
game,
point, kids. Let's look at the schedule. Because I mean, if Taylor's interested, if she wants to be wined and dined, why don't you come on November 20th on Monday Night Football and just happen to be in the same spot that Chris Jones was in?
Could you imagine?
Or could let you get you a spot in the suite.
Get you a spot in the suite. Get you some primetime footage. Hey, you could be smiling. You want to be next to Brittany? Hey.
Should she bang the drum, Nate?
No, we can't. No. Clark's like,
Let's
come
go
on.
to the drum deck, Nate.
No.
The drum deck.
No, that's reserved for
Global
Chad Henne.
sensation Taylor Swift.
That's reserved for Derek Johnson. That's
No,
reserved
let
for
Eric
Chiefs.
Stone Street do it.
Okay, with all due respect to Eric Stone Street, we're talking about Taylor Swift here.
What? No, he's
Come on
saying
now.
like this is reserved for former Chiefs. I'm saying
And like,
they
No,
do
but I
it
thought
and
you
then
were saying
pop.
that-
is Taylor
that
Swift a
she's-
Chiefs fan?
No, she's an Eagles
No,
fan.
she's an Eagles fan.
Well, that's a problem. But hey, also
Eagles.
November 20th
Eagles.
when the Chiefs play the Eagles. Come on down.
Quickly on the wide receivers, I think that this
You
is
don't
the
want to
thing.
keep talking about Taylor Swift?
I kind of do.
Oh, okay.
This is the thing that is sending Chiefs fans more in a tizzy than anything. I see people like, why are you talking about Chris Jones' contract? That nobody can catch the ball. Nobody can do this. I'm assuming you're going to tell me, I have two parts to this question. One, internally, are the Chiefs at all worried about their wide receiver options as they relate to this? And am I wrong in thinking that while it went terribly wrong for Kadarius Toney, that he was also open
He was so
a
open.
lot, considering the very few snaps he played, which should be a very big positive in his front? I'm way more worried about Sky on that front.
Yes, I understand that. I would say in 2 weeks, if things don't improve, then I think the team will be legitimately
But
concerned.
not yet.
Because by 2 weeks, the expectation is that Travis Kelce is going to play on at least September 24th against the Bears.
If not this Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes this week at practice. I think he'll be limited, most likely. But hey, he might be on the field. He might give you 4 to 5 real snaps, right, where he can help improve the offense, lift the offense. But you're not going to use him the way maybe you normally would if he was fully healthy.
If he can play on 8 third downs, I don't really care.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, where he can give you, 4 to 5 catches for maybe the ball down the field and gives you another legitimate option that the Jaguars have to honor. But in 2 weeks' time, everything that's built for Sky Moore is built off of Travis Kelce, right? They didn't have a practice without Travis Kelce to really work everything out before playing the Detroit Lions. So it was the most inopportune time for Kelce to have an injury. So I want to see what Sky Moore looks like in the offense working off of Travis Kelce's routes. And then, for Kadarius Toney, it's a matter of making sure you have the ball, but his routes were the best, in terms of the intermediate area, the deep area.
He also was targeted a bunch, and the very few snaps he had like a 40% target rate.
And that's because Patrick understands how much of a talent he is, and he wanted to build and establish a real trust in game one that you would hope would obviously continue throughout the course of the year. Patrick knows this. Matt Nagy knows this. Eric Bieniemy's in Washington. Andy Reid knows that their number one receiver is Kadarius Toney. Even Marquez Valdes-Scantling knows that. Marquez Valdes-Scantlin's like, I can be a number one receiver if you need me to, because obviously he proved that in the AFC Championship game, but you're not going to ask me of that all season because you want to make sure you actually see what this dude's potential is. I get it. So I'm going to run my deep routes. I'm going to have a highlight or two each game. I'm going to be a viable option in the red zone. But they need to see Kadarius Toney have obviously a better game against Jacksonville. And then the real look for the offense, in my opinion, is against not great Chicago Bears defense on week 3 in September 24th. Hopefully Kelce's a little bit healthier by that point, and you can get a real sense of how Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore are more in the flow of the offense and they know the hierarchy as to where they are. Because obviously Kelsey's the number one pass catcher. I still think Tony, in the Chiefs' eyes, is still the number one receiver. And then can Sky Moore be that guy that can break a play or two in the middle of the field as the projected slot receiver? He couldn't get open against the Lions, which was surprising, unless Mahomes scrambled. And so you want to see some improvement there.
Is he going to tighten the rotation? Because I feel like what I saw in that game, Gold and I talked about it, was a lot of, we're just going to keep throwing numbers at this thing because we don't really know.
7 guys were active. I mean,
and they threw to all 7.
Right. And look, I mean, it's clear that they have a package for Justin Ross, which is red zone, maybe short yardage, maybe just to move a guy on the defense here and there to set up something else. I don't know if Justin Ross was going to be active Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars if Travis Kelce does come back and is in uniform. Rashee Rice probably had the most positive day.
Yeah.
So you want to keep his momentum going. You want to see where he is. So he should be targeted 4 to 5 times in the next game. But yeah, they're trying to figure out the hierarchy because what they can trust is Justin Watson because he's always there, always on time.
To me, MVS is the same. You just it's a limit of what you trust with both.
Right. And Justin Watson can at least help you in special teams as well. So his value is increased in terms of that. So maybe Justin Ross is the odd guy out for week 2. But yeah, they need to figure out who their top 4 receivers are by mid-October.
The other part of the offense that caught a lot of us off guard was, while it was ineffective for just about everybody running the football, the first 2 touches in the backfield, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, number 3 on the depth chart. What are they doing? Is Pacheco not as healthy as we think? What the hell's going on? I have no problem if you tell me Clyde gets a couple carries a game.
Of course.
He's the number 3 back, though.
Ronald Jones,
right out of the gate.
Just give him 3.
I don't care. The depth chart is a depth chart, but when the opening drive of an NFL season, your starting running back, if he's healthy, usually is lining up in the backfield. Usually, not the number 3 running back. So what the hell's going on with that? What's going on?
Right. And they didn't even want to give – I mean, the thing that's also odd, too, is they didn't want to give Jerick McKinnon any –
He had 1 touch. He had the great catch on the first or second drive.
Yeah.
That was it.
But they didn't hand the ball off to him at all.
No.
Usually, if you're going to make this bold move, it's because you think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to get into a flow or into a rhythm or is going to have a – this is the healthiest he could be all year, which is a fair point.
Sure.
And if Isaiah Pacheco, you want to ease him along – okay, I understand that coming off the shoulder injury. But this is the healthiest Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to look, and it didn't look great. Now, maybe he needs to build better chemistry with the offensive line, and the run blocking as a whole wasn't great. But yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I'm hoping that's different on Sunday. That made no sense to me whatsoever. And that, I guess, leads us into the short yardage stuff again, Nate, because – that's not a 1 or 2 year problem. This is ongoing. This is a genius offensive mind, and yet it sounds like based on yesterday, you were on the Zoom call or whatever. He just hates QB sneaks because someone brought it up and was like, "Hey, you see other teams doing it." He's like, "Well, I watched a lot of QB sneaks this weekend," and he kind of smirked or whatever. He's like, "They didn't work."
Putting that out when there's an 88% success rate, by the way,
is stupid.
For 1 week, why?
It's the one thing we can say of honest fact. That is stupid.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
In the same sentence as Andy Reid. It's the stupidest thing he does.
That's not, if that's the philosophy, though, that he's going to have, why should I believe it's going to change at all the rest of the year?
Well, we have 4 evidence to prove that it won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it says we're going to fix it. Andy, you are one of the smartest head coaches in NFL history. You have had 4 years to fix it.
By the way.
And it's not fixed. So this is not, it's either not I think he outthinks himself. I think he thinks I'm the most creative coach in the NFL. I'm going to figure out a different solution to this problem. When the solution is take the offensive linemen who are strong and run it up the middle at them and win.
So some people have said, and I wrote a column about this Friday in The Athletic, and the point I wrote is everyone knows Mahomes is more athletic than Blake Bell.
Yeah.
So why just let him do it?
I'm fine with Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert's a big dude. Blaine Gabbert, under center.
I don't care if it's Keandre Coburn. Let anybody take a sneak.
But the problem with that is you are eliminating
the threat.
Yes, you are eliminating the idea of anything being possible.
But nobody's buying it when Blake Bell's motioning over.
That's my point.
I mean, it's
you're playing 9 on 11. It's again the stupidest thing they do on offense.
Yeah.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, they had the most efficient offense in the NFL last season, while also doing the stupidest thing you could do on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. The defense knows when Blake Bell motions from the tight end position to under center, we don't have to worry about Mahomes. What other play does the defense just get to rest and say Mahomes is not an option here? Even if you put Mahomes under center, at least the threat of a QB sneak is there. The threat of a play action pass is there. The threat of, I don't know, just a normal drop back.
Yeah.
The ball is still in the most talented player who passes the football for a living in the NFL. But removing him or isolating him or motioning him out to be some receiver, guess what the other 11 guys across the ball are doing?
Phew.
All right, our coaches have prepared this. We know exactly what they're doing. Some misdirection or some nonsense, which is Blake Bell at the age of 30 trying to QB sneak when he's not athletic enough to either get over the top or get through the line.
I know you're overthinking it if the play is Blake Bell to Rashee Rice. That's overthinking it.
And he's a rookie.
You got a lot of incredibly talented players. And you're going Blake Bell to Rashee Rice? No. There's got to be a different play in the playbook. Like, honest to God, like, if they just let me, they're like, all right, Cody, you get in charge of 3rd and 1 for the next month. What are you going to do? It's like, great. We are going to run it up the middle with Isaiah Pacheco 10 times in a row. I'm going to find out if I can be successful 7 of those 10 times.
Sure.
Which is a better hit rate than you currently have.
Correct.
And
yes.
And look, they're guessing whether I'm going left or right, 50-50 shot, right? But I'm just going up the middle with the strength of my offensive line.
Correct.
Right at you.
Yeah, before I do any of the, either that or before I even do any of this other stuff, you know what? Just go out of shotgun and let's just play
let's
like
just
it's
rip it.
Let's just act like it's 35
let's
or 30.
decide where the ball's going.
Yeah.
Right. Either his legs or his arm. Yeah.
So I just want to remind people, Tom Brady is the league's, this was in the column, Tom Brady is the league's all-time sneak leader. Okay? In 23 seasons, Tom Brady sneaked 191 times with a success rate of 83 points.
And no dislocated kneecaps. That's the other problem for Andy, though.
83%. But Andy has acknowledged that it's a freak accident.
Yeah.
It's a violent sport.
I agree.
Aaron Rodgers just snapped his Achilles on the 4th snap of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He could get hurt at any time. But if you want the line to gain, to keep the possession of the football, which is one of the most important things in the sport that decides winning and losing, give your quarterback the football.
You know what
again, the stupidest thing Andy Reid does.
The reason why I stopped taking Andy serious on this, he's like, well, he can get hurt. I'm like, you run a speed option with Mahomes.
Right. And he did get hurt.
Stop it. He's not allowed to do that if he's not allowed to do a QB sneak. Mahomes isn't allowed to have designed runs.
So
he's not allowed to QB sneak. I was like, oh, I get so mad.
So they've eliminated that because he got the concussion against the Cleveland Browns in the divisional round of the 2021 playoffs.
So they don't. We were talking about the show before, though.
They don't run the speed
specifically
option.
saying you can't do that with Mahomes if you're not going to use the sneak, and now he's eliminated that. You're like,
so again, to your point, Alex. Blaine Gabbert, hey man, you're making $1 million guaranteed.
He's a big dude too. Like we all saw him at camp. Like he's
huge.
He stands next to their quarterback. He's a big guy.
So why not? What most coaches
get Blake Bell to shove his ass forward on the QB sneak, please.
So take out one of the receivers or one of the tight ends and put 2 quarterbacks on the field.
Sure.
And then have Blake Bell get under center, or excuse me, not Blake Bell, get Blaine Gabbert under center and see if you get a first down. Then you put that on tape for every opponent to look at. Hey guys, when they're in two quarterback formation.
Sometimes Mahomes gets under there.
Right. Or, hey, what if we let Blaine Gabbert get under center and instead of a sneak, it's actually a play action rollout.
He can pass. Yeah, you have some options off of it.
Yes. So even if we take Mahomes off the field, we do have a competent quarterback that, again, puts us back in 11-on-11 situations, not 11-on-9 or 11-on-10.
Yeah, I'm open to any idea that doesn't involve trying to come up with the most creative highlight play that we've never seen in the league before to get a yard. How about we keep it simple?
That you can do both. That's the thing. You can do both. You can be creative and simple. It's called
keep the best player in the NFL.
It's called the Philadelphia Eagles.
I know. I know it.
Like it's called the Philadelphia Eagles. Like you are a more efficient offense than the Eagles, who got a first down on the butt push sneak 90% of the time last year. But also, you could be even more efficient if you just let Isaiah Pacheco push the tush of
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes 12 feet.
Right.
That's all you have to do. Like, like not even 12 inches. Just push him. Just push his butt 12 inches forward. And guess what? We get another set of downs to do all the other creative stuff that we are known for. That gets Kadarius Toney wide open with the hope that he'll catch it this time.
Nate Taylor from The Athletic, our Chiefs insider. I'm glad for you, actually, that you can now focus on Taylor Swift instead of Chris Jones.
Let us know.
We'll be checking in next week. We expect an update. Thank you. There you go. Nate Taylor.
Always at your service, Mr. Gold.
Coming up next, we'll get to the random question of the day. And, well, it's not just the Chiefs starting 0-1. Good news for the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
Whether it's a healthier weight or better poops, when people switch their dog's food from kibble to the farmer's dog, the effects can feel like nothing short of magic. But there are no magic ingredients, just real meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need. Instead of dried pellets, it's simply smarter, healthier pet food delivered to your door in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do. Find out what it can do for your dog and get 50% off your first order at thefarmersdog.com/no-magic.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
DEA warns not all pills are safe. Countless fake pills contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. This makes drug overdoses a leading cause of death. Learn more how one pill can kill at kansascity.dea.gov.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values. Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to victorychrysler-dodge-jeepram.com.
We're with Dr. Brandon Kramer, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. Doctor, tell us why it's important to see a urologist for erectile dysfunction.
As men get older, not only can they have problems with erections, but they could have a low testosterone, they can develop prostate cancer, they can have trouble going to the bathroom. And as a urologist, we're uniquely qualified to offer all treatments. If the first treatment doesn't work, we can keep on moving down the road until we find something that works for you. Not only can we give pills or injections or a pump, we're also qualified to do surgery.
So KCUC urologists treat the whole person as well as the ED.
They're not just going to focus on the one thing, have you pay cash and get you out the door. We're going to work with you and work with your insurance to get the right treatments at a really affordable price.
If you suffer from ED, see the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcurology.com.
Where can you find steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless, and occasionally random stuff in the back? The Foot, who has an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire. The Foot, who is KC's and Topeka's only stocking dealer for Fronius professional welding equipment. The Foot, who is KC's and Topeka's only Fronius authorized service and repair center. The Foot, where can you go to take a Fronius welder for a test drive? The Foot, where can you find Colossus, your friendly neighborhood robot? The Foot, just like Colossus, Metal by the Foot stands tall and ready to help both pro and DIY warriors with their metal needs. For over 35 years, Metal by the Foot has continued to up their game by providing you with the convenience and selection of metals you have come to expect. Discover new and unique quality products to take your project and skills to the next level. Get instant pricing on most items at metalbythefoot.com. That's metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Luke Combs here, and I have an exclusive opportunity for you to win $500,000 with the Living Lucky with Luke Combs lottery experience. Join me in Nashville for a private concert at the iconic Ryman Auditorium. One lucky winner will win $500,000 at the end of the show. Y'all feeling lucky? Enter today.
Enter your Living Lucky with Luke Combs Scratchers tickets at MoLottery.com for a chance to win a private concert experience and a chance at $500,000. Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery and play responsibly.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code JOY at checkout. That's harrys.com, code JOY. Enjoy.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Kelly Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Park & Go. Book parkandgo.com.
Tackle your airport parking needs at Park & Go. Always the best service and always the best price at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7 and all spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and operated.
Says you'll remain my friend until you're mine.
All right, thanks again to Nate Taylor from The Athletic for joining us in studio. We'll get to the random question today in just a couple of minutes. We know outside of the Chris Jones news here in Kansas City with the details of his reworked one-year deal that's going to get him back in the facility for a physical today and should be good to go for the Chiefs-Jags game on Sunday. We know the huge news is that Aaron Rodgers out for the season, and who knows, maybe that was the last snap we saw last night, which would be terrible in his NFL career as he tore his Achilles, done for the year. Zach Wilson, the guy, but we know the Jets got to go at least get some QB depth. There's one report out there, and Drew, who was it from again, by the way? That
Jordan Schultz, I believe.
Jordan Schultz. We've had on the show before.
Jordan's a good friend of the show.
Well sourced up with all kinds of sports news, not just the NFL, but NBA, you name it. And he's reporting that representatives of a name we haven't heard in a while. I swear I'm not joking. Representatives of Colin Kaepernick have reached out to the Jets. We looked it up during the break. He hasn't thrown a pass since 2016. What year are we in? 2023. He's 35. He hasn't thrown a pass since 2016. What are we doing? Come on now.
That's a lot longer than I thought.
Back in 2019, when he wasn't getting an opportunity, it's a whole different conversation. It's 2023. Come on. Get out of here.
I mean, there was a time where I'd have been like, hey, give him a chance to play.
Sure. I know.
It was not 7 years ago. Like, I'm just looking, I was like, what was going on like 7 years ago? Think about like some of the songs that you're like, oh, I remember that song coming out a long time ago. That was the year Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake came out. Doesn't that song feel like 1,000,000 years old now? That's the last time he played? No. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes wasn't even drafted yet, correct?
I mean, Gold, this is the same as...
Correct, yeah.
This is the same as if, like, Alex Gold's agents reached out to see about Anna Kendrick's availability. Like, you can reach out if you want, man, but that ain't gonna go the way you're hoping it will. 0% chance. He's never playing in the NFL ever again. That ship didn't just sail a year ago. It shipped 4 years ago.
Correct.
Didn't he get like a workout with a team a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Like he threw a couple of passes for a team in an offseason a few years ago?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and see if Tim Tebow and we'll see if anybody else wants to join the booth. Maybe Tony Romo wants to come back.
If you made me start either Tim Tebow or Colin Kaepernick, I would choose Kaepernick in that scenario.
I know. I'm obviously joking. It's just ridiculous. He hasn't played since 2016. What are we wasting our time with here?
2016.
There were odds though for Tim Tebow, correct?
There were. Let me scroll back up. We had it on the rundown earlier. Here you go.
He was dead last.
Kaepernick was not even on the list because that's how ridiculous. Even the offshore books that love just to throw out names to get attention.
Tim Tebow on it.
Yeah, Tim Tebow was 150 to 1. Mm-hmm.
All right, here, let's look at some other quarterbacks who were playing quarterback in 2016, and you tell me if you'd rather have them over, that are no longer playing, rather have them over Colin Kaepernick. Let's start with the obvious one, Philip Rivers.
Yes.
You would start him instead? Okay.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer was still playing in the year 2016.
Absolutely not.
Would you rather have him or Colin Kaepernick?
Done with
You have a choice. Okay, so you'd rather have Kaepernick than Carson Palmer? Okay. Sam Bradford?
Kaepernick.
Cam Newton.
Cam.
Okay, Cam. Okay. Tyrod Taylor. Is he still in the league?
Tyrod Taylor.
He's still playing, yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Tyrod's still playing.
Matt Barkley. Is he in the league somewhere?
Cap, I guess.
They're very similar in age, so, I mean, worth considering.
Johnny Manziel. Give me Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, he'd be on this list. I was going down the passing yardage leader, so I'm really cutting down the depths now. Let's say, because I don't
Either
think you're
way,
going to take Cody
I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop you there. The point
That's
is,
a good enough list.
Yeah, it's a good list. It's just whatever. What are we doing? That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
the Jets need some depth at quarterback. I get it. They're going to sign somebody, but you're wasting your time.
Someone says, "Where's Andy Dalton hiding?"
Carolina.
Yeah, he's a backup to Bryce
He's
Young.
technically in the league as well.
The Red Rifle.
That's right.
I mean, you could do worse than Andy Dalton these days, but you are going absolutely. I would legitimately rather start a 7th round or an undrafted quarterback than Andy Dalton, because at least there'd still be hope. Maybe you got lucky and you just have the Brock Purdy type, right? Maybe you just strike gold. With Andy Dalton, there's gold to be found. It's
Shane Bouchel.
Done.
Yeah, Shane Bouchel.
I'd rather start Shane Bouchel.
Yeah, you might as well
than
see if you have something there.
Yes.
You know what Dalton is. Again, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers being out for the season. The Pat McAfee show, of course, usually has Aaron Rodgers on weekly. And A.J. Hawk is one of the co-hosts of the McAfee show, and he said, quote, "I can't speak for Rodgers, but I think he's coming back to play. I can't imagine that last night was his last time on a football field." I've seen a lot of this. You're right. I'm sure he doesn't want it to be his last memory on a football field.
Physically, do you have a choice?
But it may not be his choice. Can his body, which will be 40 years old by the time we get around the next season, make it through a recovery process for a very serious injury like a torn Achilles to where he's available to play at a high level and be mobile enough?
Someone mentioned Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was on the Manningcast last night.
He said he
so
wasn't
unlike Colin Kaepernick, They asked him, and he's like, I don't know that I'm actually physically capable of playing football anymore. Like, he was just willing to just write it off. It's like not even plausible. He played like 2 years ago.
Now, I will say, as far as last night and in looking at teams that got losses so far, I mean, the Jets get the win, but nobody's worried about them because of the quarterback situation. So then you start looking around the AFC. We talked yesterday, Joe Burrow and the Bengals look terrible. They're 0-1. They lost a divisional game. The Bills looked terrible. They lost a divisional game. The Chiefs had their issues. There were offensive moments that were terrible.
We can throw the Chargers into this.
But they lost a NFC game without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. The Bills had their full arsenal last night.
Except for Von Miller.
Cincinnati, I think, you tell me if I'm wrong, Drew, pretty much I think they had basically their full arsenal in their game against Cleveland. So, yeah, you feel even better. Not that I feel better because Rodgers got hurt, but I'm just talking about the losses that occurred in the AFC this first week of the season. If you go and beat Jacksonville, you go down there, you get the crew back together, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, hopefully. You go win that, everybody's back on track here.
I think it's already pretty much the same. Because especially if you beat Jacksonville, because then they will also have a loss. 3 of the teams that won, the AFC made it so easy that the Chiefs loss, and I know it's week 1, so this might apply a lot of times. The Chiefs loss to the Lions, I'll be the first to say it, means nothing. Zero in the pantheon of where the number 1 seed's going to, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because they play the Jags right away, you immediately erase that. Cleveland is not getting the 1 seed, so they're washed. The Raiders, these are the teams that have a win. They're not getting the 1 seed. They're not winning the division, so that's a wash. The Jets aren't getting the 1 seed or winning the division, so that's a wash. So the only teams who won, who even threaten your position in the AFC, are Jacksonville, who you can beat this week, so they're done, Baltimore, and Miami. Those are the only 2 teams who really got the edge on you. Baltimore and Miami. 2 teams. Like, it means nothing. Because of the way the rest of the AFC played out, that 1 game effectively cost them nothing. And you're right. It is way easier to excuse the Chiefs' loss than any of these other. Take count. The Chiefs were without 2 of their 3 best players. Cincinnati, full strength, got walloped. Buffalo had every opportunity to win a game, but Josh Allen couldn't prevent himself from throwing a million interceptions. Like, the Chargers had a game against Miami in hand and couldn't just make 1 stop sometime in the second half. Like, all these teams had this chance to get some sort of even small edge on you in the early part of the season, and it doesn't exist. It got washed away in a single weekend, even after the Chiefs cracked the door slightly for you because it's week 1. It's a barely opening it. You closed it right back. It didn't matter.
And as much as when we were talking with Nate, worried about the wide receiver room and will they develop, who will emerge, but we haven't seen what they look like with Travis Kelce. On the flip side, if you're a Bills fan, this is the same Josh Allen issues that popped up a year ago. Bad decision making. Like, you're feeling like not only did you lose, but you're like, is this a like, do we have somewhat of a problem here? He's a great quarterback, but is he the same as some of these other guys we talk about, like Mahomes and Burrow, that they're able to make these clutch plays consistently to take this team to a Super Bowl? You're questioning that in Buffalo, in LA with the Chargers. Your offense is great, but is the defense still going to be the problems that you have? Kansas City's, to me, their issue is more centered around just will the wide receivers develop and can Travis stay healthy? You're feeling better about the defense in Kansas City in a loss. Is there anything you're feeling better about in Buffalo? I don't think the answer is yes. What are you feeling better about in Buffalo? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I can give you some minor ones. Like, I thought the 2 tight end sets kind of worked.
Right. They scored 13 or 16 points on offense, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't have some big thing to give you.
Cincinnati's going to be fine, but like, I don't know if you're feeling better about anything in Cincinnati. You're more just like, that was just a ridiculous performance. But you're not feeling better about something. The Chiefs in a loss, you feel better about the defense. At least I do.
Yeah, and you can explain away the offensive problems by just saying, well, Travis Kelce wasn't there. But at the same time, you're right. There is now this big lingering question that we would put on other teams too, which is, you heard the way Nate was talking. He's like, yeah, maybe Kelce can be available for this Jags game, but he's not making it sound like he's going to be full bore Travis Kelce come Sunday, which is going to start asking those questions of how, like, can you keep Kelce healthy the entire
We talked before the season. Do they need
I've
to
never
take
worried
back?
about that in his career, but I'd be gentle with him for the first month. I would use Noah Gray. I would count on these wide receivers. I would count on the time I thought the offensive line gave him. And I'd baby Kelce a little bit. Even if he gets on the field, I would just wait for him to play on those third downs. Even if he was on the field, sometimes he wouldn't be my primary target, Gold. And I would be using him in a way that would protect him at least for a month. After a while, you kind of just got to like let loose and go again. But yeah, I think for the next few weeks, I'll be a little worried about keeping Kelsey healthy, won't you?
Yeah, definitely. No, the idea of keeping him fresh was something we had brought up before the season. Do you utilize Noah Gray more just to keep him fresh? This is different. There's an actual injury here with I think the biggest issue appears just like the knee swelling, if it's going to keep swelling or not, and that'll dictate where Travis Kelce is at. But yeah, it's something you're going to have to keep in mind. I mean, it's a bone bruise isn't necessarily going to reoccur. It's not like a hamstring or calf injury or something, but you want to make sure you get it right, and that he's eventually very soon 100%, whether it's the Bears game or whether it's
it's not a hamstring injury or some of those ones that you're like, well, that's kind of like
that's an all-year thing maybe.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that's not. Again, the Chiefs so fortunate with this Travis Kelce situation. It could have been so much worse. It could have been a season ender. Could have been a lot of things. And it looks like worst case scenario, he might miss 2 games. Worst case scenario.
Other than, I guess, the Jags losing to the Colts, did it go about perfect? Because even the team who won last night was the team who lost their starting quarterback. So it's like, even in that scenario, the team you would have wanted to win won. Like, you didn't know who wanted to win last night if both quarterbacks are going to play the entire season. It's kind of a wash, right? But last night, I mean, other than the Colts not upsetting the Jags, the AFC picture for the Chiefs went about perfect. Chargers lost. Broncos lost. Like, the Raiders are the worst team in the division, and even they're in first place.
Right.
Great. So what?
Not only that, but the Jets, the team who they beat, are considered a contender, and you've got more questions about them, maybe more concerns than, and they're one of the top 3 teams a lot of people have coming into this year.
The only difference is my 4 teams, at least my 4 teams, not that we would change it. Neither of us change our opinion on one game.
No.
The 4 teams I had in the AFC and the NFC title game all feel fine because I chose the Ravens and the Chiefs. So at least the Chiefs I can explain away. And I had Cowboys, Eagles on the other side. I feel great about those at least, even if the Eagles struggle a little bit.
All right, let's get to a quick random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold, for you, Drew, or in the text line, 913-586-7610. I'm going to try to help out our boss here. He has taken to Instagram to complain about the current decorating going on at his home.
It's fall.
His wife is leaning in. Pumpkins, autumn colors, the whole deal. So what I want to ask for you is, when do you think if you and your wife are agreeing upon an acceptable time to decorate your house for fall, what is the deadline you are willing to agree to not make this an issue? Because Spec obviously thinks it's too early.
October 1. It's got to be, it's the month, summer in fairness, summer ends like the 23rd, right? So some might say the day after that.
I would say that. I'd give you the end of summer. When
I need
it's
an
fall,
even month.
You can decorate.
Even month. There should be no damn pumpkins anywhere till the month of October, okay? October 1. October 1 is the answer.
What about skeleton? Same vibe? Skeletons,
Definitely.
any of that stuff?
Yeah, October. Skeleton in September? October, man.
Well, some people really like Halloween decorations.
I have nothing against you. You want to go all out, and you want your house to be a haunted house, all that. October. It's September, man.
I'm with Gold.
I think I'm into summer. I'll give him into summer. You tell me September 23rd you want to start putting stuff up? And honestly, I'll let some of it go earlier than that because it's not worth the fight. You want to put together some autumn-smelling candle? Fine. You know?
Oh,
you want a couple of things?
Well, the candle thing is different than if you would tell me
we start putting pumpkins and Harvest Festival stuff all over my house.
If you want to already light up a pumpkin-flavored or scented, I should say, candle, well, that's fine. Hey, that's a good scent. Go ahead. I'm talking about the decoration stuff. The candle, who cares? I love the pumpkin candle. There's nothing wrong with that.
Does 7 days really make that much of a difference to you? It's literally 7 days from the 23rd to October 1st.
But should it matter to you, you know? Like, to me, no, it's fine. I'll just let it go, you know? And this is like, a lot of this is relationship stuff. You find the things that are worth fighting for.
This is not one that's worth fighting.
Put his foot on the ground. Otherwise, if he'd have been like, this is ridiculous, I will not agree to these terms, you could have had a bigger fight about it. But you choose the things you're willing to have a bigger fight about. Autumn decorations is not the one I'm willing to go down on. But you have to accept that I might make fun of you for it. I might be like, are we doing this? We're just like, I'm going to leave the house for a few hours and all of a sudden it's going to be decorated.
Someone says their neighbor already has Halloween inflatables up.
Okay. Now, if we're talking outside decorations, I do think we need to talk about the day. I don't think until it's the month of Christmas or the month of Halloween you can put up inflatables. You cannot have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer leading a sleigh in your yard on like November 15th. All right, I mean, we got to draw a line somewhere.
You have to wait until after Thanksgiving to do the. I don't know. I guess it's kind of weird how.
That's the tough part about Halloween and fall.
I would say decorations October 1st, like gold for fall, but then winter, right after Thanksgiving is done on Black Friday, you could start putting stuff up with no problem.
Someone said my wife started August 15th with pumpkins. Said I have no choice. Not worth the fight. I'm just not doing it.
When do you start listening to Christmas music?
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like smack dab after, or do you wait a little bit even still?
Thanksgiving night, even if you want it in the car, people have that.
I think
stations flip over.
This is the problem. Christmas gives you this natural buffer. After Thanksgiving, Christmas begins, right? You're in.
Yeah.
You're good. Everyone agrees. We can mostly do it starting around then. We all expect it, right? We expect to go into a department store and hear Christmas music right after Thanksgiving. The fall thing has no definitive thing stopping it from the front. So you don't know what the logical thing is. I do really enjoy all these people just like, we don't have any choice. In my neighborhood, these people have two 15-foot skeletons up year round. They basically decorate it each month depending on the thing. So it's a skeleton, but they just like put like the Easter bunny near it. Or 4th of July, it gets like red, white, and blue stuff.
They decorate the skeleton in, pink and
I mean, if you
baby
got a
blue.
15-foot skeleton, what the hell are you supposed to do with it on the off time? It's a 15-foot skeleton. I don't imagine it stores all that easy.
No. I'm surprised. You strike me. I'm surprised that you don't. If there's
Do you
anybody.
guys want to get a 15-foot skeleton for the studio?
If there's anybody on the show, I feel like you, right at the station, you would be Mr. Have like the snowman inflatables and all kinds of stuff. B-Dub says his wife's already plotting out Christmas decorations.
Plotting out Christmas? It's not even October. It's not October. What are we talking about Christmas decorations for?
Okay.
I think it's
going to keep the stuff up all year.
We can get a 12-foot skeleton for the studio for $300.
We do not need a 12-foot skeleton in the studio.
How tall do you think these ceilings are?
It'd be touching the ceiling.
Yeah, I don't know if it would fit. You might have to pull up a tile, let it the skeleton.
I guess these are like maybe.
You just want to have a skeleton in the backdrop? I mean, we can decorate the studio and have spider webs in here if you want.
I mean, we have
a
video stream now. Shouldn't we have some stuff behind us?
Maybe so. Someone says pumpkin's a terrible sin. I actually don't think it's a bad candle. I don't think the pumpkin. The right pumpkin spice. The pumpkin spice candle's not too bad. Not too bad. All right, there you go. Random question of the day. All right, we'll come right back here on Cody and Gold and get into all 32 around the league. And one thing Cody says in more than a small way might be a big reason why the Chiefs can stay healthier.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
When you have asphalt and concrete needs, there's only one company in Kansas City you need to call. That's Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Look, they're one contractor, all things parking lot. It doesn't matter which things you need. Asphalt paving services, those maintenance solutions, or even major concrete work. Gann Asphalt and Concrete can take care of it for you. Go to their website for yourself and take a look, GANNasphalt.com, or give them a call, 816-354-1214.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
It's time for some football. Make it easy with Old Shawnee Pizza and their Tuesday special. Any single topping pizza is just $12.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com to order. Old Shawnee Pizza, now with 3 locations, Shawnee, Lenexa, and now carry out in the Crossroads.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So visit FanDuel.com/610Bob and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio.
Hey, are your old windows letting all that good air conditioning out? Well, on those hot summer days, that cool air is escaping through your old leaky windows and the hot air is pouring in. You want to replace those old windows and keep the cool air inside your house this summer. We still got some time in the summer. You also need to prepare for the winter when the opposite is going to happen. That's why I'm here telling you about Window World, the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Window World's windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Just over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 52,000 homes in Kansas City. You get a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor, because Window World uses a double-strength glass that gives it a strength that is not commonly used in replacement windows. Right now, they're offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. All you need to do is call them for a free home estimate. Replace your windows and keep the cool air inside your house this summer with Window World.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to Step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait!
Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Hey, it's Scott Moore. Make sure you keep listening all season long on your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
1 o'clock hour, Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon hanging out with you. Drew was just telling us during the break, Stefania Bell, who's really locked in on the injury front. Remember, she did the really in-depth piece on Alex Smith and his recovery. Yep. She had just tweeted out 6 to 9 month recovery for Rodgers, but again, full recovery could be a year, which is what everybody expects. If Rodgers wants to go and come back to play, I mean, that's something none of us have the answer to yet. Does he want to, and is he physically able to come back and be effective? Yeah, it's not an arm injury. You're not worried about his arm, but is he going to be mobile enough for a guy that's going to be 40 years old next season for the Jets? That's something that they're going to have to go through and have conversations about over the next 6 months, and that's kind of their deal, their issue that they got to worry about up in New York. The short term is obviously just devastating, and as we were talking in the last segment, just major ramifications for the AFC playoff race.
By the way, this really screws the Jets financially, as you might be not surprised to find out.
Okay.
The cap hit for him is only $17 million next year and $51 million in 2025 with a dead cap hit of $49 million.
Yeah, so they reworked the money to save money for this 2-year run.
They need him to retire.
Well.
Or play. I mean, my God. Even at 43 and 44 years old, Gold, they have void money on this contract for 3 years after he's set to retire from age 43 to 45. They were so desperate to just get that one Super Bowl title. They went all in to do it, and then the guy immediately tore his Achilles. That's what I was talking about earlier when I had said one of the most devastating from just everything they put on the line injury in NFL history. I wasn't talking about the physical injury. Lots of people have had Achilles injuries.
Sure.
But just from everything that was going on at the time, this is one of the most impactful injuries in NFL history.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about it earlier, and everybody's like, did you forget about the Joe Theismann injury? You weren't saying the actual look of the injury.
People died on an NFL field. Obviously, that would be the worst injury.
Yeah, you were meaning, and I knew exactly what you meant.
Yes,
impactful. You meant from hey, here's all the noise around the organization and the player, the expectations, the money all-in approach, clearly that the Jets took, understandably so, and to have it end, I mean, again, a Week 8 injury would have sucked too, okay, by the way. But 4 snaps in. They didn't even get to enjoy 7 weeks, a game of Aaron Rodgers. That's what, any quarterback injury. There will be another quarterback that gets hurt this year. Hopefully not a season ender, but there will be another quarterback that gets hurt. But not 4 snaps into their season, not maybe for a team that had an all-in approach for 2 years. Because even if, when Joe Burrow tore his ACL a couple years ago, that was devastating.
No one's expecting them to win anything.
That was devastating, but one, we didn't know the full level of Burrow yet, but also he was 23 years old. So you're like, we got another 10-plus years of this or whatever. For Rodgers, they had a 1 or 2 year window that might be gone entirely now. It is for this year, but it might be gone forever. And that's why it's just unbelievable. I personally don't think Rodgers is going to play again for the Jets or in the NFL for that matter.
One underplayed part of all of this, in my opinion, is the field. I think when the sheer number of players who speak out against it, it has to be a factor. One, we learned last night that apparently some of these fields have been rolling in grass for soccer matches, which is ridiculous to do it for a different sport that is not your own. And the NFL's own internal data on the subject suggests that you are almost twice as likely to be injured on an artificial field than you are a natural grass field. I don't care if you've replaced it. These fields are a problem. The NFL has been ignoring both grass and turf field problems for years and just pretending it to go away. I mentioned this in week 1 against the Cardinals. They can't keep ignoring this problem. And by the way, in no small way do I think that this is a big reason why when we say, hey, why is it that the Chiefs are way healthier than most NFL franchises over the last 5 years? This is why. their field, where they play half of their games, is in better condition than every other field or any of the top 5 fields in the National Football League. It is not a mystery that they stay healthier than the teams who play on a substandard surface. They just got to switch to all grass field for starters. And then hold teams accountable who don't take care of those grass fields.
A lot of it, though, these owners won't do it because guess what? They want to have all these concerts, and it's tough. You know, the Chiefs don't do concerts in season, right? They do concerts in the off season. If you're New York, where you obviously have access to way more concerts, these owners want the concert money. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of owners have been hesitant to switch to grass. And you're like, well, then don't be the owner of the team. You're an owner of an NFL team, but we all know they want to have other revenue opportunities. And so I'm not saying it's right, but like that's the challenge of getting unless.
And they may just have Beyonce and Taylor Swift here, just figure it out.
But in the summertime. But I'm just saying, like, you notice the Chiefs don't have a concert October 1st.
No,
or they will October 1st.
They have Beyonce October 1st, but like that's the last one they'll have before the World Cup.
And they'll probably that's the last one they have the World Cup, but also they're going to roll. Usually they put in new surface later in the year as well. And I don't know if that's when they make the difference in grass, but you're right. They have the rare in-season concert, actually. Normally they don't have an in-season concert. We'll have to see what the field looks like, actually, after that October 1st game. The Chiefs are on the road, but after the Beyonce concert.
You know what?
A lot of it is the extra events that these venues try to have. But here's the thing. Isn't in Arizona, when we were there for the Super Bowl, right? And
there's this grass.
The Las Vegas, they roll in the grass, correct? In Las Vegas, they're grass, but the Cardinals field still sucks. You know,
I understand, but it's twofold for me. One, get rid of all the artificial turf fields, go to grass. There is statistical evidence by the NFL. They can't even hide it. You're way more likely to get hurt on an artificial turf field. You're just way more likely to get hurt. They know it. Everybody knows it. They preach player safety all the time. You are significantly more likely to be injured on a fake grass field. Okay, so that's a starters. But then, Gold. But I've told you before, you got to hold teams like Arizona accountable for when they do not put a playable surface out there for teams.
Until Roger Goodell, though, in the NFL requires certain surfaces. They're not this. This goes back to the Super Bowl. Like you would think, organizations making billions of dollars a year, a league that is successful as it is globally, that they would make sure they have the most elite playing surfaces in the world. But it's not been an emphasis. The NFL will preach safety, right? Concussion research now and helmet advancement and rule changes. We're going to change the kickoff rule and all these things. But one thing that should be the most basic, but it costs them a lot more money to do, is change the field and make sure that everybody has grass surfaces. But that's not what they're. I don't know if we're going to get to a point where they require every stadium to have grass surface.
Look, I appreciate the text line saying, "Hey, there's no way that it caused it. Look at the replay." Well,
I don't think it caused it.
Well,
no,
I mean, you can think that, but I can also tell you that former professional athletes also think it wouldn't have happened on there. So I don't think that it can be ruled out as a 0%.
Right.
I'm not saying 100% chance it caused the injury.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we know for a fact that those types of fields cause more injuries, and people have been complaining about MetLife Field for years.
That particular field
for years.
I'm with you, and you're right that there's more injuries on that field. But again, I mean, you even admitted in the first hour of the show today that the calf strain and stuff possibly led to the Achilles. So we can't claim it it's on the field. And then a segment from now say, hey, you got to look out for Joe Burrow because he's got a calf strain. It might lead to an Achilles. And then when it happens, and then we're going to blame it on the field. So like I think
I don't know how their field is.
I think the Achilles thing might be also, unfortunately, something that was going to happen when they were playing at Arrowhead for Rodgers because of how his leg was. Like, I think it was a freak injury. It sucks. Some of the other injuries.
You're like, this injury isn't it, but you also agree with me that the fields are a problem.
No, absolutely. Well, there's been documentation that MetLife in particular has been problematic. But Drew, we were all texting in our group text last night. Drew, you pointed out that they just put in a new playing surface, correct?
They were talking about how they just redid the surface at MetLife.
Like, I don't know, the Cardinals did that once, dude, and we stood on that field. It was a dump.
Right.
Doesn't mean they do it right. Look, we're lucky in Kansas City. I really honestly, I mean, at this point, can you deny it? The reason why the Chiefs are healthier than most teams is because their field is better, right? That has to be playing a factor in this. There's almost no way. Yeah. They've been a significantly healthier team than most NFL franchises.
Here comes the jinx right here.
And then also have one of the best playing surfaces in the NFL.
This is going to come back to haunt you right here. That comment right there. That's going to come back to haunt you, man.
You were the one, we let you off the hook. Right before the Travis Kelce injury, we were sitting in the bullpen, and you were like, Oh, I took Noah Gray because, something happened to Kelsey. Then at least I got Noah Gray. You said that before Kelsey got hurt.
Our fantasy draft? Yeah, we had our fantasy draft Tuesday night, and the injury happened Wednesday.
And you said that about Noah Gray, didn't he, Drew?
Yeah.
Right before.
Yeah,
he was
I said
like,
I might as well
what?
take him late just in case.
That was the whole thing that you had said, you know what, I'm going to take Noah Gray because the worst case scenario, I've got Noah Gray. And then it happened as well later.
That's a fact. That's true. That happened.
The Bengals at Paycor Stadium is turf. The thing that's interesting is because
Burrow screwed.
No,
it's over.
Well, this is the thing. Joe was asked about this last year, and he said he'd rather play on turf than on grass.
That's the first time I've questioned Joe Burrow's ability to be an NFL
This
quarterback.
was
That's a
last year.
questionable decision making.
He was asked about it. And he said, I think having universal turf would be a great thing for us as players. I don't know the stats or injuries or anything based on that. I personally like playing on turf.
They're bad, Joe. They're real bad.
This is the thing, though, too. I think the field had maybe something to do with it, but the fact that he had a strained calf, it was going to happen eventually, which is, I guess, to bring up Joe Burrow as well, a part that also is a little bit nerve-wracking for Bengals fans is, hey, he just strained his calf. Could definitely happen to him as well, and it's just a common thing that we saw with J.K. Dobbins. I'm not sure if he had a calf strain as well or if it just happened this weekend, but we're seeing the torn Achilles a little bit more often, and you could probably point to the playing surface maybe a little bit more. I mean, it's the easiest thing to blame, I guess, than anything else.
Everybody's looking for answers, like, why did this happen? Should they have, this is
because nobody wants this to happen. It's way less fun.
Yeah, no, it is. It sucks. Yeah, I mean, not just for last night, and does it make the Week 4 game a much more likely win and all that? Sure, but you still don't want to see a future Hall of Famer, and also it can very easily just happen to you. So before you dance on someone else's quote unquote grave here, very easily can happen to you in 6 weeks, in a week, 2 years from now. You never want any. Someone's like, why do you feel bad for the Jets? I'm like, because it still sucks. It's still one of the great quarterbacks of all time. It's still early in the season. The NFL's better with Aaron Rodgers starting for the Jets.
At least you're not the Jets fan, or the Packers fan too, or
how about that? We didn't have time for trash of the day, but we basically we're talking about right now. So this was at a Wisconsin bar, right? I don't know if it was in Green Bay, but it was in Wisconsin.
Sure.
Okay, obviously full of Packers fans. We know the Packers traded them to the Jets. And the Packers, if Aaron Rodgers would have played 65% of the snaps, they were actually going to get a first-round pick.
Correct.
That's done as well. But this bar was offering free drinks if the Jets and Aaron Rodgers lost?
For every single game, as long as they're not playing the Packers. For every Jets loss, you get free beer.
And, of course, when Rodgers gets hurt, they thought, well, that meant the Jets were for sure.
So they started running up their tab.
Yeah, listen to this news story.
There's a loud roar when Rodgers leaves the game hurt in the first quarter. The fans say it's nothing personal.
I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to Rodgers, but tonight I'm thinking with my wallet instead.
And the mood has changed considerably. That is because the Jets just won the game on a long touchdown in overtime. People are realizing the bar tabs they've been racking up all night, thinking, certainly with Rodgers hurt, the bar was going to be paying that tab. It is setting in. They are going to have to go to the bar and pay that tab.
They started right after Rodgers got hurt, racking up a tab that they then assumed would be free, only to then have to pay said tab. Oh, beautiful.
And mind you,
beautiful.
Later on, I cut this part out, but for the first 12 weeks, this is still ongoing. For every game that the Jets play.
So all year.
Yes, it is a...
They did not have a caveat of if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing?
Yeah, I would be like, he has to be the starting quarterback, because they're going to lose 8 games at least this year.
For all the Packers fans, though, who are rooting him on and all that after he got injured, it's like, guys, you don't realize the situation. Like, I texted my brother last night, who's a diehard Packers fan. He's like, dude, I'm really mad about this, actually, because he was supposed to play, 70% of the snaps.
Yeah.
And then and start in every game or something like that.
Man, this is a good time to teach Drew about Chiefs history here. If I could just find the audio of them cheering after Matt Castle got knocked out.
Yeah. Remember Eric Winston.
Oh, man, is that in the system?
No, dude, that stuff's long gone probably. Eric Winston was the Chiefs offensive lineman. He left. He was only here for a year.
I have it.
Okay, here we go. So,
wait, it's 3 minutes long. Are we playing that?
No. Well, no.
Let's just play the beginning part.
Okay, Matt Castle gets hurt, and the crowd boos.
And then Eric Winston, after the game, offended by this.
All-time quote.
We are athletes, okay? We are athletes. We're not gladiators. This isn't the Roman Coliseum. People pay their money, hard-earned money, to come in here, and I believe they can boo, they can cheer, they can do whatever they want, because I believe that. Hey, we're lucky to play this game a game to come in here, and people, it's hard economic times, and they still pay the money to do this, okay? But when somebody gets hurt, there are long-lasting ramifications to the game we play. Long-lasting ramifications to the game we play. All right? I've already kind of come to the understanding I probably won't live as long because I play this game, and that's okay. That's the choice I've made. That's a choice all of us has made.
He went on and on and on. That was an all-time quote. He also was only with the team for a year.
This is not the Roman Coliseum.
That was done. Shockingly, he was done after that quote. Like, meaning, Kansas City, you were toast. I think he became like a NFL player rep for some, I don't know. Anyway.
We are not gladiators.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, look, I get the field stuff and all of that we've been talking about here recently. I can point to plenty of injuries that have happened on grass as well. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
but we know statistically it's higher.
I know. Well, like Harrison Butker and Trent McDuffie, week 1 last year, got hurt on that crappy Arizona grass. I mean, it just happens. Let's get to all 32 though. All 32 in the NFL. We'll stay away from Aaron Rodgers for a second on this one. I want to go to the opponent though. Last night, Josh Allen. Bills get the L. Josh Allen threw 3 picks, fumbled a snap as well. After the game, he basically said, "You know what? I've been here before. This is the same bleep on a different day."
Yeah, trying to force the ball. Yeah, same place, different day.
Without Brian Daboll, he's a different quarterback. Still great.
You think this is an offensive coordinator?
Still great. Still, 27 other teams, 28 other teams would take him in a heartbeat?
Probably.
But I think he's a little different quarterback without his offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. We talk so much about OC changes in Kansas City or other cities. I believe it's a bigger impact when your defensive-minded head coach doesn't maybe have a guy like Brian Daboll to continue the progression that we saw, the jump we saw from Josh Allen when Daboll arrived. And it was great. That's why Brian Daboll has a head coaching job. And you say, well, Brian Daboll was terrible Sunday night. Yeah, but look at last season, what he did with Daniel Jones. I think Daboll's a hell of a coordinator. He obviously learned a lot, thinking of someone that used to be in Kansas City. He used to be an OC in KC. That was much different feeling about him then than people have now.
Yeah.
But I think that's a problem. When Sean McDermott's your head coach and he's a defensive mind, he needs a great OC. And your favorite OC who throws laptops in the press box is their OC still, I believe, right? Ken Dorsey?
Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
Not going so great, is it? Bit of a hothead, at least on that end.
Well, and to go a little bit further with Josh Allen, he has 83 interceptions since 2018. 83, most in the league.
Jeez.
Also,
it's kind of wild that he leads the league in interceptions.
I think this might be a more alarming stat for people. The most games throwing multiple interceptions since 2018. Josh Allen has 19. Baker Mayfield has 16. Jameis Winston only has 16. Carson Wentz has 14. Derek Carr has 14. Sam Darnold has 14. He has more multiple interception games than Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold. All 4 of those guys have at least been close to, if not basically out of the league.
He's feast or famine guy, you know? He just is.
His electrifying plays overshadow the fact that he's really a turnover machine and makes some really bad decisions.
Is he Jay Cutler in his prime? I mean, is that what we're calling him all of a sudden? Remember, Jay Cutler would do some spectacular things. I imagine he even led the league in passing yardage one year for Jay Cutler. Obviously, Josh Allen's better than that, but I don't know. Maybe that, eventually that bugaboo will cost you, especially if your athleticism goes down. The thing that bothers me more about Josh Allen is that he has not learned not to take a hit. I don't care how big your body is, man. Cam Newton broke down one tape.
He jumped towards the contact.
12 yards short of a third down and jumped towards the contact. Didn't make any sense. For the all-32 for me, I am fascinated, and I mean honestly fascinated, about what the future plans from a salary cap perspective are for the 49ers. You might ask yourself, well, the 49ers must be really close to the cap. They pay everybody. No. They actually have some of the most cap space in the entire NFL right now, and over $40 million available to them. Their highest paid players, they only have 3 of which are paid over $10 million, are Trent Williams, a $12 million cap hit this year, Eric Armstead, a $12 million cap hit this year, and Nick Bosa, an $11 million cap hit this year. That is until next year hits. Yeah. When they end up owing 11 players more than $10 million. Trent Williams make 31, Armstead 30, Debo 28, Fred Warner 24, Kittle 21, Ward, Travarius 17, and so on. is this going to work? Or are they planning on trading some of these high-priced value players? Because maybe you got one more year of runway. They are technically already over the cap. They're $40 million under the cap right now. They're over the cap for next year. Now, you get to roll some of this money
the cap's
over.
going to increase next year, won't it?
Yes, but you get to, well, based on the projected cap, they're over. They're already over.
Gotcha.
The projected cap, think about the Chiefs. You think they can afford 5 players over 20 million, 11 players over 10? Nobody affords players at that price
They're
point.
able to do it a little bit more just because Brock Purdy's making no money currently. But yeah, I mean,
but everyone else
it
on
wouldn't
the
be
team
surprised
is.
if they
It's
trade.
Very weird.
Maybe they would trade someone, talking about the Niners, next offseason. I mean, George Kittle will be 30 next offseason. Depending on what he does this year, it could be 4 straight years where he doesn't have 1,000 yards.
They train Debo. They can't hold on to all these players. Somebody has to change, right? The Chiefs, for reference, by the way, not 5, they'll have 3 players making over $20 million next year as a cap hit. Patrick Mahomes, Jawan Taylor, and Joe Tooney. Like, I feel like I don't understand their math, and I'm just trying to make sure that we're all on the same page, that it doesn't seem like it makes sense, that they shouldn't be able to afford this many high-priced players. Joey Bosa is one of the richest players in NFL history.
The Rams did it for a couple of years, and they had to pay the price later. But the 49ers have a quarterback making no money.
It's like they're banking on Purdy somehow being able to be the guy that leads them there and not make the mistakes.
Sometime in the next 2 years, though. That's important to note. Sometime between this year and next year is really what we're talking about. Because by then, if he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback for you, you will have to pay him something and eventually cut ties somewhere along the way. It makes no sense to me. Some of the players the Chiefs are scheduled to make $10 million next year might not even be on the team. Charles Omenihu, Valdez-Scantling, Justin Reed, those are all players who could be cut next year. I'm not saying they will. Joe Tooney. Like, some of these guys, what they're making might not even be on the team next year. I think that's it. He did his. He covered Josh Allen on his interceptions.
Yeah, that was me hopping in there.
You guys both had Josh Allen ones for all 32.
Okay.
Intriguing player, you know?
Fair enough. That's why I was confused. I thought we had another one. I didn't know we were both doing Josh Allen.
I think he had his in first. So.
And then we switched it. I was going to do something on Tua.
I put mine in last night.
I was going to do something on Tua, and then this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did
it was
Tua.
It was going to be on Tua, and then I changed it before the show because we were talking about Brian Daboll's struggles. So there you go. All 32 in the NFL. Up next, we get to what's trending, and back into why one thing is not happening with Chris Jones in the future.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Nate Taylor joins the guys in studio Tuesdays at 1 during the season, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
At Century Roofing, we want to protect your home and your wallet with our sale on impact-resistant shingles. Get a Class 3 impact-resistant shingle for the price of a standard shingle, or upgrade to a Class 4 shingle for the price of a premium shingle. Impact-resistant shingles better protect your home against KC storms and can save you money on your homeowner's insurance. It's a win-win. Schedule a free, no-obligation estimate from KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
This is Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sport coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. We'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a Royals VIP package and more. To nominate an area high school coach, go to seeyouinthemajorleagues.org/BlueKC.
You know, I'm all about efficiency. 2 birds, 1 stone. The best of both worlds, that sort of thing. I eat all my meals with a spork, and my favorite condiment is Ketch Must Mayo Mayonnaise. That's why I installed a Navian Combi boiler at home. Think about it. Endless hot water and high-efficiency whole home heating all in one. It's perfect. They're compact, Energy Star certified, and can even get you a federal tax credit. Ah, Navian, you really get me. If you want to find out more, and of course you do, go to BoilerSeason.com.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Woo-hoo! Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code BETKC and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Place your moneyline, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 plus to wager. Kansas only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire in 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Want a new car at a used car price? I'm Jeff Davis, owner of Volkswagen Lease Summit. Right now, we have a surplus of new cars, so everything is seriously discounted.
Get up to $4,000 off the 23 Taos, $5,000 off the 23 Tiguan, $6,000 off the 23 Atlas, and up to $10,000 off the ID4 EV. Hurry in before we run out of 2023s.
Don't miss our surplus sale at the #1 Volkswagen dealer in the Midwest. Visit VWLeaseSummit.com.
Based on 2022 VW retail reports, financing through VCI OAC. Call 816-841-7383 for details.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors, with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Hey, it's Kling. I'm sure I'm not alone, but I'm probably about as cost-conscious as I've ever been throughout my entire life. And that's why I shop at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee matches the price, penny for penny, on thousands of items with retail giants like Walmart. So I get the same low prices every day, plus their amazing service and extra savings with my Hy-Vee Fuel Saver card. So look for the red everyday low price tags. You're going to get the best price at Hy-Vee. In all these uncertain times, there's one thing I'm certain about, and it's Hy-Vee, the best grocery value in town.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a Fuel Saver discount equal to the Chiefs' score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer valid in store only with lookup code 95345. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
Home is where the heart is. At Anthony, 70-plus years of trust. Safe, reliable, local. Your home, our commitment. Schedule online today at anthonyphce.com.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, the big news across the NFL today. Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, the MRI did confirm he is done for the season, tore his Achilles in last night's Monday Night Football game, just 4 snaps into his New York Jets career, and could be the last play of his NFL career. Carrington actually just came in during the break. He was asking us what we thought on that. I think it might be it. I really do. I just think it's an awfully tough injury to come back at age 40, but there is a lot of money on the table for Aaron Rodgers to try to come back. I'm not saying he's going to decide next week, like, I'm just not going to try to come back. I'm just wondering, do we get to June or July and he's realizing, man, this is not going to work, kind of thing. That's how I see it playing. I don't think he's going to announce his retirement in the next month. Okay, there's no reason to do that. Also, he's getting paid all this year, anyway.
You know, I always wonder in these situations which it is the Jets would prefer, because the odds of getting the level of play you were going to get post an Achilles injury for a 40-year-old quarterback seem low. But you owe him a ton of money, so retirement would save you some of that money. Do you wish for that or root for that instead? And that's really the question. I think we're there. Next up on What's Trending, we got the financial numbers for Chris Jones, by the way. Less money. Like, that's simply it. He can technically earn more than he was originally slated to earn this year in $19.5 million. He can now earn up to $25 million under the new contract. But to just make up the money he lost in the fines,
right,
he would have to get 15 sacks, play in more than 50% of the snaps, and either go to a Super Bowl or win an All-Pro. That's what it would take. If he hit every incentive they gave him in this new deal, he'd be structured to make about $2 million more than he would have been under the original deal. Remember, he was fined over $3.5 million for the time he missed. This is a huge loss for the Katz brothers. They lost this negotiation. They lost the staring contest with the Chiefs. They lost a game of chicken, whatever. They didn't win in the end here. If Chris Jones still gets a hefty contract in the offseason, I'll say that they didn't do all that bad. I don't think we have the complete story in how badly they lost, but they lost this battle for sure. If this is like a war, they lost the battle, no question.
Let's just call it like it is. He's not going to make the extra $1.8 million this year. I'm sorry. He has to be Defensive Player of the Year and they win the Super Bowl. You've already missed 1 week. That matters for Defensive Player of the Year.
Super Bowl, you got a better chance of that. By the way, they'll happily pay the $2 million bonus if he wins the Super Bowl. They might have given that him. Here's the thing. If all he had asked for from the beginning was an extra $2 million if they won the Super Bowl, they probably would have just written that into the contract.
But again, that was never the beginning. And the negotiation was a new contract. And remember, the Chiefs did offer a new contract with guaranteed money. They turned that down. And as Nate Taylor was telling us, we'll never probably know for sure. But for all we know, the Chiefs did pull the plug on it after he missed the first game. We don't know. That's not confirmed. Or just simply, did Chris Jones tell his agents after being miserable in that suite, because he looked miserable, did he finally say, man, let's just cut our losses. Get me in there. Cut our losses. Save face a little bit. We know they didn't get what they wanted, obviously, but also we know it wasn't great because it took until this morning for the details to come out after the news broke yesterday at 4. And if anybody's followed this stuff long enough, you know that if an agent actually gets his client a really impressive deal, guess what happens? He wants everybody to know that his client got a new deal. And we got him X amount of extra money. You notice it didn't leak out until this morning. It's a pretty telling sign as well. Next up on what's trending out in Pittsburgh, a couple injuries with the Steelers. Cam Hayward going to have surgery, going to miss multiple weeks. Hamstring issue. Also, Deontay Johnson going to miss time. They're wide receivers. So, banged-up Steelers team to start the season after a rough loss to the 49ers. So, even more pressure on George Pickens with Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth and company. But big losses right out of the gate for a Steelers team.
Yeah, a lot of people really high, obviously, on the Steelers going into it. I'm not going to try to panic based on a single game for them, but yeah, they had about as bad of a start as you could have, all things considered.
And in that same division, Jack Conklin, who's a very talented, multiple-time Pro Bowler, or All-Pro and Pro Bowler for the Cleveland Browns. He's done for the season, so the Browns did just sign a veteran offensive tackle because Jack Conklin's out for the year with a knee injury. Suffered that against the Bengals.
Lastly, on What's Trending, Jim Trotter used to work for the NFL Network as one of their national NFL reporters, is suing the NFL in a retaliation lawsuit, according to multiple reports. That is because he was very critical of some of their handling on their hiring practices as it related to race and the policies they were putting in place as it relates to race. And then he was let go soon after that, so he's now suing the NFL in a retaliation lawsuit, naming Roger Goodell as one of the parties in that. That lawsuit is just been filed.
That'd be something to
That's
watch.
a bad look. Firing a guy who was critical of your hiring practices, who's also a minority, is not a great look.
Definitely not. Definitely not. We'll see if there's some settlement in the future to keep more details from coming out. Usually that's how that stuff typically goes. If the NFL knows it could even get uglier with that lawsuit. As you said, that's what's trending. Here on Cody and Gold, you mentioned Chris Jones and where the numbers sit now. There's one thing that I just don't see happening in the offseason, though. And it's not just that I don't see Chris Jones back in a Chiefs uniform. It's that the franchise tag, to me, I still don't believe is going to come into play here. Because with him only missing 1 week, fortunately, it means that the tag is still going to be around $32 million. We mentioned, remember, hey, if he misses 6 weeks, it actually could make the franchise tag more realistic because the number goes down to 28. Well, it's going to be $32.4 million. And I'll give credit to Carrington on this. He looked it up. Only 2 players have ever been tagged over $30 million. They were both quarterbacks. They were Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Do you really think the Chiefs are going to have the second biggest franchise tag ever in NFL history on a defensive lineman, no matter how talented and how special he is? And I told you I think he is still the second most important player overall on this team. I don't see that happening. So if that's the case, to me, he's going to walk in the offseason, and they'll get a comp pick, and that's how this thing's going to end, hopefully after another Super Bowl, and it's a great farewell tour, if you will, at the end of the season for Chris Jones. It sucks that this is where it's trending, but I just don't see Chris Jones getting tagged because of the financial element. That $32.4 million would have to be on the books immediately before free agency opens up, right? So
I would think so.
Why would you do that?
Look, you would have to. There is a scenario in which it happens, but you already, for sure, have your trade partner absolutely, without question, lined up. Part of the problem here is the NFL doesn't really work a way where you can franchise tag a guy for $32 million and trade away all $32 million. You will have to suffer some cap implications to do that. For the Chiefs, let's say you get a second-round pick because someone knows they're going to have to pay Chris Jones a mountain of money.
That's the thing. You're not getting. I'm glad you said second-round pick, Cody. They're not getting a first-round pick if the cap hit is $32 million and you have to rework a whole new deal.
So let's just say you can get a second-round pick. You are still going to be on the hook for some of that money, some of the 32. Maybe the cap hit on your end is $8 million, maybe it's $7, but you are going to be on the hook for a portion of that money just based on the way these NFL trades work. It is almost impossible to trade every cent of the contract. Look at the Aaron Rodgers deal. They traded Aaron Rodgers. They still have money they owe Aaron Rodgers. They are responsible for a portion of the cap hit. In that case, wouldn't it just make more sense to let him sign for as much money as he wanted and then just take the third-round compensatory pick? You'd be the top compensatory pick. Yeah, it's at the end of the third round. No, it is not a perfect pick, but wouldn't that be the more logical conclusion, Gold? To me, the odds of them, this is why, this is the one thing I wouldn't beat him up over. I think people were last night. He's like, he didn't even get the no franchise tag clause. It's a long shot.
The Chiefs were never going to do that, nor should they.
No, they shouldn't have given up on it, but it's also just a long shot. Chris Jones' agents, although looking kind of stupid today, I think know well enough that they know that $32 million is the third highest cap hit of all time. If they were to franchise tag him, I just don't think it's in the cards.
Don't you think there's a decent chance? I hope Chris Jones has a great year. That's great for Kansas City. I hope he has double-digit sacks again. I hope he hits the incentives, and obviously the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again. But don't you think there's a very good chance that the deal that the Chiefs reportedly offered essentially might be what he gets next offseason from somebody else? I just don't.
I think best-case scenario is probably right around there, maybe a little more guaranteed.
I just don't think he's going to get the deal he wanted all offseason, next offseason, a year older. He could go and have 13 sacks this year, Cody, but a year older is another team. That Nick Bosa deal that came out, he's never getting that deal.
No.
You're going to be 30 next year. You're not getting, on average, $34 million per year and actually seeing that money. I guess the last year could be completely BS and someone tries to make it seem like that. But,
yeah, but I mean, if the
that wouldn't
Chiefs
make any
were willing
sense.
to give you a fourth year, who the hell in the free agency market's going to do? It could be
that's why
fake, fake money like the Orlando Brown 6-year contract.
I just don't see it, man. So hopefully it does suck. Like someone that was homegrown. And I do believe, I know, Drew, you mentioned earlier, I do believe Chris Jones wants to stay in Kansas City. And you say, well, then he would have just signed the deal. Money clearly was more important, but if he really wanted out, and wanted the deal for sure this past off, he would have requested a trade. And to his credit,
request a trade right now.
Yeah, and to his credit, have done it. And to his credit, that's never leaked out. Nobody's ever insinuated that was in the cards in this negotiation at all. That never that never was rumored.
Right. I really do believe that Chris Jones loves the organization, loves playing for the Chiefs, and would like to be a Chief for his career. I think he would also like that to be as the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history. Or one of the highest paid defensive tackles in NFL history.
Weren't going to get both here, though.
He just lost they lost the showdown. There's no way to spin this where the Katz brothers got him something. The best they got him was a chance to earn his money back. So but he had it. Mm-hmm. That would be Gold, we'll give you a chance to make 25% of your salary back when I was already going to pay it to you. With a slight chance of a bonus, they're not impossible because it's the Chiefs. It is not impossible for him to win the Super Bowl and get $2 million.
But to be Defensive Player of the Year, he might have to have 17 or 18 sacks. He's already missed a game.
And we all watched Michael
Parsons
play.
was incredible on Sunday night. That's the guy that was the favorite anyway to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Have multiple sacks?
I was going to say TJ Watt, even though the Steelers got killed, he had a ridiculously good game.
He was pregame 7-1 to win Defensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt, he had the third or fourth best odds. I'm guessing they've increased.
Well, and I'm not saying Chris Jones doesn't want to be here. I feel like his agents really screwed him over because, like you said, Cody, best case scenario is he gets something similar to what he was offered by the Chiefs, where I don't know if he relied on his agents too much, but in terms of how they may have presented it to him, you're going to get more money or you can't get more money. Because I feel like if he knew a month ago that he could get the incentives and he could sign a fully guaranteed deal to stay in Kansas City and do it, I think he would have done it.
Before the first game, Chris Jones did have the 8th best odds to win Defensive Player of the Year. He now has the 20th best odds.
Well, he missed a game.
Aiden Hutchinson's flown up the list because he had a massive game. Sauce Gardner, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, doesn't matter. Myles Garrett.
Would it surprise me right away if Chris Jones on Sunday gets a sack? Of course not. He's a hell of a player. I think he can step in. I'll be curious to see what the actual snap count is because we talked for many, even though he's here now.
A full week worth of practice. My guess is 65% workload from his normal amount, not 65% of the snaps. That would be his normal workload.
I think the real answer for that probably, I asked you, but if we could find out how many snaps did Nick Bosa play. Nick Bosa showed up midweek last week and played against the Steelers. Now, they were blowing the Steelers out, so maybe...
And it was 2 or 3 days before, not 6.
Yeah, so I would be curious how many snaps did Nick Bosa ultimately play.
Nick Bosa.
By the way, TJ Watt, 3 sacks on Sunday.
Okay, there you go.
Jesus.
Yeah, TJ Watt's ridiculous. People, he got hurt last year with the pec injury early, but he's still a freak.
My God, man. Yeah, he's very good. He played 35 snaps, 56% of the defensive snaps.
I would be stunned if Chris Jones played with more than 56% of the snaps on
Well,
Sunday
I think his average last year was 65%. So that would be close to if Chris Jones manages to play.
I think it's more like 40.
56. Yeah, I think it's probably 40 or 45%.
Which is fine for the first, and then
get him back to his normal workload next week.
And hopefully Travis Kelce's part of this equation as well.
Take it back. His normal workload over the course of his career is 65%, 70% of the snaps. Last year, he played 80% of the snaps for this team. Jeez. So I'll take 56% in a hurry.
Bosa had
40%. It's about half of the share he would normally play on the defensive line.
Bosa had 4 total pressures, 1 hit, and 3 hurries per Football Focus on Sunday.
No, Chris Jones can be effective. Even in a limited number of snaps, he can be effective. But if you get 56% out of him, you are accomplishing something across the board. There's no doubt about it. I just this whole thing feels like we spent the entire summer talking about it, all the training camp, the first regular season game, and literally came back around to a loop where nothing was accomplished. Chris Jones is here on a 1-year deal. No long-term plan, no long-term future. Let's take a quick poll of the room here. Who thinks Chris Jones is here for more than this year? Anyone?
No, I think this is it, man.
Kind of has to be.
I think this is it. I mean, you couldn't work the deal out now, and then I keep going back to the fact that you're just going to be a year older. Why do I think that you can get a deal done a year when you're older and the Chiefs weren't willing to budge on the number. You weren't really willing to budge on the number. I don't see why we should believe something changes. Now,
Text line's asking if he could get traded before the deadline, but I don't know why you.
Why?
Here's the thing. I think the Chiefs actually want him on the team. Like, bad news. They think he's an elite level defensive player, and they are trying to defend their Super Bowl championship.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to move on from Chris Jones now.
Why would you do it midseason?
Well, that's why I think that
And to who? Somebody who's going to beat you in an important game? Ooh.
To your point, Gold, is he'd love to have the money and be on the Chiefs, but he figures, okay, let me get what I can now, be on the Chiefs, try to win another one, and then I'll go on my way and I'll get the money then, or I'll try to get the money.
Yeah, people rumored that, if they traded him, this was weeks and weeks ago, Chicago. Who knows? Maybe Chicago signs him in the offseason and he gets the kind of deal he wants. There's the Chiefs connection there with Ryan Poles. That's an offseason conversation, and we'll have a much better feel about how we feel about Karlaftis and Felix Anudike-Uzomah and their progression. Yeah. No matter what, if Chris isn't on the team next year, they will have to go either spend a high draft pick or go spend money in free agency on a defensive lineman in their own right.
And the good news is on that is that they were willing to give $70 million guaranteed over a 3-year deal. So can they afford
3 for $55?
A free agent defensive end? Yeah.
For 3 years, $55 million?
They can. They can afford a free agent defensive player. My biggest fear is that Chris Jones ends up going to the AFC competitor that puts them over the top. Because I can promise you that a majority of AFC teams are going to look at Chris Jones this offseason and say, that's the guy who's going to help us beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He is a dominant player. I know he's 30 now. Jacksonville's a perfect answer. They're going to finish at 11 wins this year. They're going to lose in the playoffs to the Chiefs again in the divisional round. And then they're going to be like, all right, cool. Trevor Lawrence is really good. Calvin Ridley showed some promise. We need one dominant defensive player to put us over the top. God, if only there was, oh my God, there is a guy available. His name is Chris Jones.
Yeah.
It's
always funny because you're right.
An obvious team to just.
It's always funny. You're like, you can leave, but don't sign with our. We all do this in sports. Obviously, you would prefer anybody signs with an NFC team or whatever. But it's just you can't. Yeah, if you're not going to pay him, if you're not going to pay him, then you can't dictate where he goes. It's one of those. That's an off-season conversation.
That's one of those things you hope for, but you don't have any say. In the matter. Obviously, we hope if Chris Jones leaves, he goes to the NFC.
Yeah. I
mean, he becomes a defensive lineman for the 49ers. They can just load up with more contracts. I don't care.
Best case scenario is Chris Jones has a great year for Kansas City, helps them get back to a Super Bowl. Karlaftis takes the leap. Felix already showed a little bit of promise in limited snaps on last Thursday. That by the end of the season, we're saying, wow, Felix, okay, you know what? I feel pretty good about my ends all of a sudden. That you go and say, all right, they can either go spend a high pick on a defensive lineman.
So let's get a better than league average defensive tackle.
Or let's go spend,
Chris Jones.
Yeah, let's go spend 3 years, $45 million, and pretty damn good player. But because our edge rushers are better, we don't have to have the dominant interior guy, and we're
and
okay.
That guy doesn't exist.
We can make that work. Yeah, Chris Jones is that special with that athleticism. At his
You're not
size,
getting him on the free agent market unless it's Chris Jones.
Correct.
The person you're choosing not to pay.
And depending on how the wide receiver room looks at the end of the season, we'll all be sitting here telling you they need to either go spend a big money free agent wide receiver or spend a high draft pick, or maybe Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore do take the leap. And we're like, wow, they already actually have number 1 and number 2 receiver. This is what's great about the NFL. All these questions we have right now, we'll get answers to over the next 4 or 5 months.
Yes. The Chiefs will have a better idea of where they stand at the end of this thing, and if whether or not they need to go buy a left tackle. Look, they're going to have a shopping list at the end of this year. It could include left tackle, wide receiver, and defensive line. Those aren't exactly cheap.
Well, they're going to have some money. They're actually going to have some money, though, because if Chris Jones is not part of the equation, they will have some money if they need to go. They got to do some shopping, as you said, but a lot easier to do that, and everybody feels a little better if the team's also coming off another Super Bowl.
That'd be nice.
Things a little bit easier.
I'd like that. Chris Jones being here makes that way easier.
It definitely does. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow. We're going to end things off the drive. They have a short show today because a little doubleheader action. The Royals-White Sox game last night got rained out, unfortunately. So there's 2 games today. And guess who's pitching?
Tonight.
Jordan Lyles. 4 wins. We need 2 more. He's got, 3 starts left? Maybe 4?
Yeah, right around there.
We need 2 more.
So you'd like to get that one tonight.
So Cody has to buy the show a bottle of Dom, and he can't drink any of it.
That was a Vern rule. We never agreed to that.
Drew and I we'll invite other people in. We'll get Vern in here, all that. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.
Chiefs fans, it's Creed Humphrey. Don't miss Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10.